Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Drop some 4,000 in the chat if I can be heard. This is your brother, Malaki Macabee. Play this on down the stage. I dropped some 4,000 in the chat if your little brother can be heard. Y'all see the title, Israelites and Christians must change their minds. About the Almighty Creator. What we got on the screen right here is the book that was published earlier this year in February by yours truly, your little brother, From Darkness to Determination, a practical guide on conquering depression and trauma. Hardcover, Malaki Macabee, description and purchase. Well, should I say the purchase links are in the description box. Just click on the description, you know what I mean? You click on, scroll down, you'll see exactly where it is. Also, the frankincense and myrrh, pure body oils, bing, bing. You feel me? All the links and everything is right up in there. And we click on there and all we gotta do is get it cracking. What's going on with the family today? I see y'all in the building. Shout out to my brother Bishop X in the building, FG Keys. One love, you already know. My brother Mayak is in the building. Sack in the building, stand up. That's what I'm talking about, man. Love, light, and balance to the family. Leave that know that. We got my brother in the building. King Selah Shalom is in the building. Gang. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Go to his playlist too. Get your mind blown. All right, who else we got up in here? We got Sister Essence is in the building. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Check her out. She got a lot of things going on, books and all type of different activities. Check out the Sister Essence is in the building. What's the word? What else we got up in the building? Johnny James is in the building. What's the word? What's the word? We got Katora. Katora is in the building. What's going on, Katora? You already know, love, life, balance to you. With my short leggers, send love to my two oldest short leggers. You already know. What else we got up in there? Just me, Buzz Lightyear is in the building. What's the word, family? Love, life, balance, and all that good stuff in between. Yeah, y'all tap in, check out the practical guide for conquering depression, trauma. By yours truly, your brother Malaki Macabee from Darkness to Determination. You want to purchase that slab, it's right in the description box. You want some pure body oils, frankincense, and myrrh. You want some designers, whatever. It's scrolling across on the screen at the bottom. Tap in with me. You dig? We can get her done. All right, so I'm about to share this with y'all real quick. Y'all know how we do. We like to go ahead and, throw the appetizer out there first before we get to cooking the full course meal. You feel me? Man, shout out to the CGG, man. Credit gang. My beloved brothers and sisters. I'm going to trade y'all for the world. Y'all already know. Out here bombing this higher light everywhere.
Jehovah is as near this day as in the time of the ancients. Put yourself in order, becoming one with him. And no book is so easily read as his created universe. Inspiration comes less by books than by what Jehovah wrote. His worlds read him and his works. Frame your speech and your thoughts for him. He will answer you in your own behavior and in the happiness of your soul. Great wisdom cannot be attained in a day, nor purity and strength to overcome temptation.
Come on.
Till the growth is from the foundation. The fool will say, the sacred books are no more than man of his own knowledge could write. Yet he has not wisely imitated the power of the words of your God. Let him do this well, and behold, he will also declare my words are from me. Yes, he will recognize them wherever found. It is the will and wish of your God that all men become constitutionally capable of receiving and comprehending the highest life, and that they shall no longer depend upon any priest, church, oracle, holy book, or upon consulting the spirits, and that their behavior may make the earth a place of peace, with long life to all people, for the glory of Jehovah. To his Etherian gods and goddesses, Jehovah said, as you have founded arcs of light in my Etherian heavens, to determine the travel of my corporeal worlds, so shall my God of the earth inspire mortals to build lighthouses for man's ships that travel on the oceans, and those who travel in the ships. And those on the land shall know when a ship nears the port, even as you see my traveling earth approaching the place of Cosmic. For this shall be an illustration to mortals, that I have appointed cycles of times and dawns of times, with gods and goddesses to superintend my creations in tenderness and love, lest by chance man becomes despondent, saying, alas, Jehovah did not provide in wisdom commensurate with the magnificence of his creations. Behold, the time draws near when the nations of the earth shall course around the whole earth in ships, crossing the seas and oceans to all the places I created.
Yeah, that deal go. Yeah, that deal go. Shout out to my brother Bronze Yo for the magnificent, marvelous production, brother. Yeah, that deal go. Ain't nothing to play no games back. That deal go right there. Here, listen to this real quick. Decoding the story of Abraham with Owaspi by our brother Silah Shalom, who was in the chat. We're gonna check out a few minutes of this, and we're gonna get to the topic at hand. Y'all see the topic. You know what I mean? Y'all know we don't come to kick cans and hold hands. Shout out to Nina Boy. We ain't here to kick cans and hold hands. Yeah. We ain't here to Mighty Cuddle, fluff, tiptoe through no tulips. Nah. Right at it. Watch this. This video was done over 10 years ago. Shout out to the brother, man, for holding that, you know what I mean, that standard and that beacon of light for all them years. Because it ain't an easy thing. You know what I mean? It ain't easy when everybody against you. Trust me, I know. You got to keep your head down and, you know what I mean, put some resolve in your back and just, hey, look, it is what it is. You feel me? It don't matter if all you mumble mouth maniacs get mad. We don't care nothing about that. We care nothing about your hot ass breath. Keep it over there.
That can clear up things in the King James Version. So here in this video, you will see how both books can be used for a great tool of clarification. Although I know a lot of Bible believers believe that no book can contend with the Bible. But I will tell you, Owaspy is the book that can rival the Bible. Now, the place where Abraham was said to be born, there is evidence of civilization, being the Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. And the evidence is...
Let's go back. My bad.
Peace, peace. This is your host, Sila Shalom. And this is the Cosmon Teachings in the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors from the Cosmon Bible, Owaspy. Now, this is part 6 of decoding the Bible with the Owaspy. And this documentary is called Decoding the Story of Abraham with the Owaspy. Now, in Owaspy, it contains the story of Abraham, and it's things in Owaspy's version that can clear up things in the King James Version. So here in this video, you will see how both books can be used for a great tool of clarification. Although I know a lot of Bible believers believe that no book can contend with the Bible. But I will tell you, Owaspy is the book that can rival the Bible. Now, the place where Abraham was said to be born, there is evidence of civilization, being the Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. And the evidence is there for you to see. So although we cannot trace evidence of Abraham single-handedly, but what we can trace is the civilization he came from. And there are a lot of similarities of clothing and customs in those regions that parallel the Hebrew customs, such as the long beards and lofty hair, hair dreaded in locks, the fringes on the borders of the garments. So there is evidence of Abrahamic Hebraic customs in these regions, as you see on these icons. Now, in the Bible, it doesn't give you a physical description of Abraham. It doesn't say if Abraham was black or white. But when we look at the relics coming from those regions where Abraham is born, we see brown to dark-skinned people on the relics. Now, in the Owaspy, it gives you a physical description of Abraham, as stated in the first book of God, chapter 8, verse 7, where it states, Abraham was of pure blood, an Ahuan, and the light of Suez, which is the ability to hear angels, had been with his forefathers and foremothers since the flood. And he was large and red like new copper, and had black hair and a long beard, fierce to look upon, but his soul was gentle as a woman. So here you can see how Owaspy describes Abraham as being copper skin tone with a lofty beard, as seen on these icons from the Mesopotamian region, showing you the same identity. In these regions being the Tigris and Euphrates, you can see how the men wear their beards long and knotted compared to the Africans on the Nile Valley who kept their hair short and less facial hair most of the time, showing you the difference between these two cultures of dark-skinned people. So there is no confusion here concerning the color of Abraham and Owaspy. Now we're going to decode Sodom and Gomorrah. In the Bible, Genesis chapter 19, verse 1, 12, 13, and 24, it states, verse 1, and there came two angels to Sodom at eve, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. Verse 12, and the men said unto Lot, Hast thou hair? Hast thou hair any besides? Son-in-law, thy sons and thy daughters, whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. Verse 13, for we will destroy this place because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. Verse 24, then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. Now in the Owaspy it states, the first book of God, chapter 9, verse 5 through 9, it states, God said to Abraham, behold, it is an easy matter to commune with spirits, but to judge righteously of them is not so easy. For which reason thou and thy wife and 100 picked men shall go and visit Sodom and Gomorrah in the valley of Sodom, or Sodom. Verse 6, and Abraham and his people went as commanded by God and visited the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And God spoke privately to Abraham, saying, I will destroy these cities, for they are as hells for evil spirits, but Lot shall escape for thy sake. So here God, son of Jehovah, states he's going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of the evil spirits, which are nothing more than evil people when they die. And they continue that practice in spirit. Verse 7, and when they came to Sodom, behold, angels walked amongst the people. And the people knew they were angels, but cared not for them. And there were laws made by Bera, king of Sodom, regarding the behavior between angels and men. Verse 8, and Abraham, being pressed by the presence of God, said unto his people, behold, there are angels that love to dwell in lust, and to partake with mortals, to eat with them, to lie down with them, and to partake in all ungodly pleasures. Verse 9, God through his angels rained down fire and brimstone on Sodom and Gomorrah, and they were burnt and destroyed. Lot the elder escaped and went and lived in a cave. So here is the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. And there has been evidence found concerning Sodom and Gomorrah near the Jordan, near the area of the Salt Sea, as seen on these pics. Now we're going to decode the sacrifice of Isaac, where in the Bible it has you believing that God called for the sacrifice of Isaac. But in the WASP it states that it wasn't God who gave that order, but one of the evil angels from Sodom and Gomorrah, as described in the WASP's first book of God, chapter 9, verse 10 through 20, it states, verse 10, now after Abraham and his people were returned to Jireh, his camp, and it was night, God said to Abraham, be thou steadfast, and show thy people that they may understand my words. Verse 11, and whilst they were yet praying before the altar, God withdrew from Abraham and suffered the evil angels who had followed them from Sodom and Gomorrah to draw near about the altar. And one of the angels clothed himself in a great light and with the crown and with sparkling gems, and he appeared. So all the multitude of people could look upon him. Verse 12, Abraham said, who art thou? And the Spirit said, I am thy God, ruler of heaven and earth. Abraham said, I am thy servant. What wouldst thou? And the Spirit said, thou shalt take thy only son Isaac and thy hosts who were with thee at Sodom and Gomorrah, and go with me whither, and I will lead thee, for I have a great work for thee. Verse 13, Abraham said, whatsoever thou puttest upon me to do, that will I do. So here you could see how Owaspi clears up the fact that God wasn't responsible for the command of sacrificing Isaac, but the evil angel who styled and decorated himself, appearing to be a holy angel of light, was the one who was behind this deception. And according to the Bible, it was God who made the commandment. So the Bible is not clarifying these things, but Owaspi is. That's why it's a good tool. Verse 14, so in the morning, Abraham and his son Isaac and the host who had been with Abraham to Sodom and Gomorrah assembled together. And Abraham spoke, saying, whither, O God? Verse 15, the Spirit answered, saying, take sticks and a firebrand, and come thou to the summit of yonder hill, for thou shalt restore the rights of burnt offerings. So Abraham told what God had said, and they started. And Isaac carried the bundle of willows, such as basket makers use, saying, this will light the large pieces, but what will thou burn for an offering, O Father? And Abraham said, God will provide. Verse 16, and when they ascended to the place, Abraham gathered logs and heaped them up, and Isaac placed the willows. Verse 17, then spoke the Spirit, saying, what shall a man love above all things in the world? And Abraham said, God. And the Spirit said, for which reason thou shalt offer thy only son Isaac as a burnt offering? And it shall be a testimony before the people that thou wilt obey God, even to the sacrifice of thy own flesh and kin. You see that? Now, this is what your Bible says. So it was an evil angel got you believing in the Bible that this was God, or telling Abraham to do such a horrendous act. Verse 18, Abraham said, show me that thou art God, that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. Verse 19. And the spirit departed away from Abraham, perceiving that he knew the higher law. And Isaac was grieved at heart, for he desired to witness what a sacrifice was. And the people, seeing a ram near at hand, went and caught it, and slaughtered it, and sprinkled the blood on the sacrifice. And they lighted the fire, and roasted the flesh, and took it and gave it to the poor. Verse 20. And Abraham called the place Yahweh Yireh, or Jehovah Jireh. And they returned to the camp, and Abraham, being moved of God, spoke before the people. So here is the clearing up of the idea of Abraham sacrificing Isaac through Oaspi, that it was not God who commanded Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac. It was an evil angel, a fallen angel. A lot of you are under the disguise of these fallen angels. A lot of you Hebrews are under the disguise of these fallen angels. And I'm the one who could challenge you on these things. Now, decoding Ammon and Moab, or the Ammonites and Moabites, as far as them being a nation. Now, in Oaspi, first book of God, chapter 11, verse 1 and 2, it states, when Lot the younger escaped out of Sodom, he halted in a small city called Benah, and tarried there while Sodom and Gomorrah were being consumed with fire. And because he was saved, he called the place Zor, because he was a worshiper of the doctrines of Zarathustra, who was called in the Phoenician language Zoroastria. And the place was called Zor for more than 1,000 years. So here the term Zor referred to the Zarathustrian doctrine. And Lot was a follower of the Zarathustrian doctrine. And remember that Abraham's household migrated out of Persia, where the Zarathustrian doctrine originated. Verse 2, when Lot departed out of Zor, there went with him 2 tribes, and there were born of the house of Lot offsprings to the 2 tribes who accompanied him. And these became the nations in after years known as Moabites and Ammonites, who were of the Phoenicians, as their names show, and they followed the doctrines of Zarathustra. So here it states that 2 tribes accompanied Lot when he fled Sodom and Gomorrah. And these 2 tribes later become known as the Moabites and Ammonites. Now, according to the Bible, Lot slept with his daughters, having offspring being Moab and Ammon. And that's how those nations came about, according to the Bible. But here in Oaspi, it says these were 2 tribes, showing you diversity here. Now, as we move on, decoding that Ishmael is not Abraham's physical son, but his stepson. In the first book of God, chapter 11, verse 5 and verses 10 through 12, it states, verse 5, now it came to pass that Hagar, Sarah's maid, had a son and called his name Ishmael. And Sarah was jealous of Hagar and abused her during pregnancy. And the Lord spoke to Abraham, saying, because of the hatred between thy woman, Hagar's son will be as a wild man. His hand shall be against every man, and every man shall be against him. Now, this is the description of the Arab, or the Ishmaelites. Verse 10, and Sarah went to Hagar and said, O my sister, I have sinned before the Lord my God. I saw thy son and knew God gave him, but I turned against my own soul and loved not thy treasure. Verse 11, Hagar said, pay close attention at this verse. Verse 11, Hagar said, saidest thy God that Abraham was father to my child? And Sarah said, nah, O Hagar. Hagar said, neither said I thy husband was Ishmael's father. So here in Oaspi shows how Hagar states that Ishmael is not Abraham's father. Verse 12, so they were reconciled, and by right of the beginning of Abraham's nation, Ishmael was Abraham's son before God, but not in the flesh. So here Oaspi is clearing up the fact that Ishmael was the stepson and not a physical descendant of Abraham. That's why the blessings went from Isaac to Jacob. Well, here this verse clears up that Ishmael is not from Abraham's bloodline, but is a stepson. And with this clear, it would make sense why Isaac was chosen, being Abraham's real son. And the Muslims, or Ishmaelites, or those who practice Islam, may not like this, but it is what it is. But it makes sense because all the prophets and lawgivers in the Bible was from the house of Israel and not Ishmael. And to further drive the nail in the hole about Ishmael not being from the loins of Abraham, in God's first book, in the first book of God, chapter 13, verse 19 through 21, it states, God, verse 19, God said, behold, there is a time to clear up all things, present and past, where Abraham, father to Hagar's son, Ishmael, and had he been true to the law of sacrifice amongst the heathen, then Ishmael, being firstborn, would have been chosen for the burnt offering. So there you have it. This is why Ishmael was not called upon for the burnt offering, because he wasn't his son, but Isaac was. Verse 20, in which matter the Ezra Bible, the Tanakh, and the King James Bible leading up that you have today is shown to be false before Yahweh or Jehovah in regard to Abraham, Ishmael, and Isaac, and the burnt offering also. Verse 21, which words were not my words, nor the words of my angels, but the words of the Egyptian records. So here again, it shows you how Ishmael is not the physical seed of Abraham. And it also mentions the Ezra Bible, which is the Tanakh of 450 BC. When the Hebrews returned from the Babylonian captivity, they recorded those false accusations against Abraham in them texts. Now, God commanded Isaac's wife to come from Syria. First book of God, chapter 13, verse 7 and 8, verse 7. And Abraham said concerning our son Isaac's wife, and God said, because of the blessings of Sarah, thy wife, who hath been upright all her days, I will give her comfort in her old age. Verse 8, send thy servant to the land of thy fathers, and I will send my angel with thy servant. And he shall come to a maiden who shall be Isaac's wife. So Abraham called his servant, who was overseer over his goods. And he said to him, equip thyself with camels and asses, and with servants, and with jewels. I will give thee, and go thou to Syria, the land of my fathers, and bring a damsel hither, who shall be Isaac's wife. So Abraham relates the land of Syria being the land of his forefathers. And this is the place where he will send Isaac to seek out a wife. Now, in the ancient time of Syria, there was a city called Ebla. And there is evidence of civilization going back as far as 25, 26, even as far as back 3000 BC in that area called Ebla. Now they have the Ebla tablets, which is the evidence. And on those tablets, they have deciphered names such as Ishmael and Israel, and places such as Hazar, Megiddo, Jerusalem, Lachish, Dor, Giza, Ashtaroth, just to name a few. And you could see on these pics the evidence of that region. And you can see the people, you can see civilization. They got tablets of governorship. They had a king's list. When you look up the Ebla tablets, you can see these things for yourself. I'll let you do that homework because I've been through these things in past vids. And I don't want to keep repeating things that I already addressed in other vids. You can just go check the vids or just go check the Ebla tablets and you would see proof of biblical names in them tablets. Now, here are the false accounts by the Arabians about Abraham decoded. First book of God, chapter 11, verse 23 through 31, it states, verse 23. Now, when Abraham and his people came to Arabia, especially into Egypt, the matter was entered in the records of the different kingdoms, especially reference to Abraham's professing to hear the voice of God. For he had not a flat head, and moreover, he had good judgment of his own, quite unlike the Aegeans in the temples, or the Magi's. Verse 24, but because Abraham gave no counsel as to war or to earthly gain, he was not favored by any of the kings, and was suffered to go his way unmolested. And this is why you probably don't find him in the records. He wasn't involved in government. He was more like a countryman living on the outskirts. So you don't have too many written accounts of a person living in the country in the outskirts. Verse 25, when Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, the king's people heaped the blame of it on Abraham's head. And there rose up enemies against Abraham in those regions. Verse 26, and they also accused him of attempting to burn his son Isaac as a sacrifice to his God, after the manner of the heathen of old. So here you can see that account was not written by Abraham, but his enemies. Verse 27. And they accused Abraham of being the father of Ishmael by his servant maid, and of driving Hagar and Ishmael away to Paran after he tired of her. Verse 28. And these accusations and many more of like wickedness were heard by the news gatherers, the scribes, and they wrote them down, not knowing of a truth what they were doing before God. And so their records were entered into the libraries of the kings of Arabia, especially of Egypt. So here you can see how the he say, she say was going on back then, making false accusations. And these are the false accusations that Ezra, when he went up and started writing the Tanakh, used as reference for Abraham. with all these false accusations, which you have in your Bible now about Abraham being a murderer, wanting to sacrifice his son. Owaspi clears up that all those were false accusations, as you see in this verse. Verse 29, Abraham perceived these matters, and he wept before God, saying, Alice, O God, would though I had a great learning and could write my records truthfully before men. God answered him, saying, verse 30, thy faith being in Yahweh, in thousands of years, one Ezra shall send his scribes into these countries to gather news, even as do the kings of this day. And his scribes shall translate from these records with all their errors and falsehoods, and Ezra shall publish the matter as the history of the deliverance. Now, and the Ezra Bible is the Tanakh of 450 BC after the return of the Babylonian captivity. And as I have been telling many Hebrew Israelites, that it is the Tanakh that incorporates all the false doctrines that you have today in your Bible. The creation story was not part of the Torah. Adam and Eve was not part of the Torah. The flood of Noah was not part of the Torah, because those are stories, and the Torah is law, and the story is not law. So in 450 BC is when these creation stories, these false accusations against Abraham and confusion came in. Now, verse 31, Abraham, hearing this of God, bowed down his head and wept, saying, thy will be done. And God comforted him, saying, I am the light and the life. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings, and catch you on the next documentary called Decoding the Hebrew Israelites. Shalom. Peace, peace. This is your host, Selah Shalom. And this is the
Yeah, Selah over there cooking. That type of info make a lot of people slap happy, boy. Like you punch drunken spirit after hearing something like that. I'm talking about pure denial. You feel me? Salute to my brother, Selah Shalom, man. Excellent way to bring out that higher light. Because, you know, there's a lot of people scared of that. And we don't care nothing about you being scared. You feel me? No, are we here to throw and pour doom on you? We here to bring you something greater. Even your creator. Y'all got some understanding from my brother's documentary about decoding the Bible, the story of Abraham with Owaspi. Y'all dropping 12,000 in the chat. Y'all make sure y'all get on over there, man. Click on that playlist. Give you some understanding. You feel me? All right, bang. All right, where we at on the volume? What tape? All right, there. All right, we good to go. Bang. All right, so look, y'all see the side, y'all see what's going on in the building. What we got going on in the building. All right, bang. We set up, we ready to rock and roll. But Israelites and Christians must change that. And that includes Islam too. You know what I mean? There would be no Islam without the Torah per se. You know what I mean? There would be no Christianity without the Torah. So yeah, we talking about all of the main, the quote unquote Abrahamic faiths or beliefs or whatever. That's what we talking about. Turn this down some more. Be about right there. Yeah, so this includes Islam. Don't think we just letting Islam slide or nothing like that. But you know what I mean? We talking about Israelites and we talking about Christians. You got to throw, Muhammad sandwich in them over the pile as well. Right here, we're gonna start off doing Matthew 5 and 20, and see what we can go ahead and extrapolate about this. How everybody doing today, man? Y'all dropping 12,000 in the chat. All praises to the great spirit, the creator, the almighty, the God maker, the maker of suns, moons, and stars, that always was, is, and ever shall be, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. Everywhere. Omnipotent, omniscient, all powerful, all knowledge, omnipresent or ever present, fill it all space and place at once, good night, and not in the form and figure of any man, woke man, angel, or animal. We talking about the creator. So you've been praying to a God, I'm talking about its maker. There's nothing higher. You know what I mean? So love, light, and balance. We got up here is Matthew 5:20. We're going to show you a few things dealing with the teachings of Messiah. All right? Matthew 5:24. I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Now, peep that. Now, who are the scribes and the Pharisees? You need to know who they are, because your righteousness is supposed to go past and beyond theirs. Now, we've been hearing, you know, if you're familiar with the Bible, you hear about Pharisees all the time. Who are these scribes? Let's look at them. Let's look at the scribes. See what we're talking about around these parts. We ain't here to play with you. Put it right in your face. Deal with it. You know what I mean? You should always be willing to scrutinize and challenge whatever it is you're talking about or believe. There you go, right there.
Strong's G 1122. Grammatus.
Grammatus. Now look what a scribe is, y'all. So when you learn your little coin Greek, right? Look at this right here. In the Bible, I'm about to highlight that. Look at this right here. It says in the Bible, a scribe. In the Bible is a man learned in the Mosaic law. A learned man. Got his doctorate, in Torah, in the Mosaic law and in the sacred writings. An interpreter, teacher. Really? Now, the scribes and Pharisees was the Messiah's main enemies. Now, why would a man learn it in the Mosaic law and the sacred writings, also an interpreter and a top-level teacher, be an enemy to Yahshua? Why? Why would the ones interpreting, writing down, teaching, I'm talking about, got all your degrees, your learned certificates, and you are a quote-unquote rabbi, basically. You understand? You that dude when the people come to you for questions. Now, why would somebody this powerful? Why would somebody this powerful be an outright enemy to Messiah? Why? Look what else it say. They say scribes examine the more difficult and subtle questions of the Torah. Added, look what they say. We hear all the time, don't add to and don't take away from, right? Look what they say. Look what these Negroes did. Added to the Mosaic law. They added to it. Hold on. So when you get people flapping their jowls about, oh brother, you taking to and you adding to and taking away from. No, you ain't no scribe. They've been doing this. Scribes been on deck, what they call it, redacting and editing, and they've been doing all that. But you gotta ask yourself, why would somebody like this be at odds? Because these is the cats that's writing down the scriptures that you have. These are the ones interpreting Torah. Why would those who are interpreting Torah, writing down Torah, adding to Torah, be an enemy, an outright enemy to what Yahshua was on. You see? Could it be because he was teaching opposite of what was written down? Huh? Yeah, a lot of people, you know, try to like mold, you know what I mean, who you call Messiah into their own little paradigm or whatever. You dig? But you never slow down and be like, well, why are the scribes his enemies? I mean, he's the living word, and it's the word made flesh, and the volume of the book is written of him. I were the ones writing the book down, all the scribes. And look what they do. They're adding to the Mosaic law. These are your teachers of your Torah. These are the ones adding to it. These are the ones answering difficult questions. They're interpreters, teachers of the sacred writings and the Torah. They are learned men. What you mad about? Added to the Mosaic law decisions of various kinds thought to elucidate its meaning and scope. And did this. They added to the Mosaic, they added to the Torah, the scribes did, and did this to the detriment of religion. You see? So you see them adding their own little personal, you know, experiences and you know, opinions, and all because you think a Negro done went and got so certified that, you know what I mean, he's God's gift to the earth. What they were doing was a detriment to your spirituality, a detriment to you becoming one with your maker. Come on now, listen to these are the ones writing down. So in Yahshua day, the scribes are the ones writing it down, teaching it, adding to it. So why are they mad at the Messiah? Who's the volume of the book? The word made flesh. He, after all, he agrees with everything written down, right? Obviously not, because the scribes wouldn't have been his enemies. Scribes wouldn't have been his enemies if he agreed with everything these mealy-mouthed misfortunists wrote down. We're going to get into some higher light today, because the Israelites and Christians, you have to change your mind about who you calling the supreme being or the almighty, or who you call God. A lot of y'all saying creator now, creator. All right, that's what's up, but it's more than just it rolling off your palate. No, your entire disposition and ideal of who your maker is must change. Other than that, you still up under idolatry. You still up under it. And Creator said he counts you no less idolatrous than those who was worshiping wood and stone. Look at this. Look at this. Y'all think this is a game? Watch this. This is right in the Bible dictionary. The scribes added to the Mosaic law decisions of various kinds, thought to elucidate his meaning and scope, and did this to the detriment of religion. Now remember, Messiah say, unless your righteousness go past these niggas, you ain't got no hope in getting into no type of kingdom. Look at these niggas are scandalous. And the people were bound and enslaved to a doctrine, you understand, because they feared the men that were writing it down. And these men were adding to the Torah. And here you go, you are innocent in mind, just want to do what's right. And you think, okay, since it's written down, then shit, it's a green light. You don't know how many scribes and how many pens and how many hands Bible done went through. How many translators through so many different perspectives and under so many different authorities, to where you can go get you a Motel 6, open up the drawer, and it's a Gideon's Bible right there. You don't know what, like the process everything had to go through. You understand? We seeing the scribes are the Yahshua's main enemy. So if you over here gun ho like, man, every comma, every period, every parentheses, I'm rolling with it. Well, Messiah wasn't rolling with everything that was written down. He like, trick no good. That's why they was mad at him. That's why the scribes are his enemy. These the niggas writing it down. These the ones teaching it. You see? And here we go, just licking our fingers, reading the Gospels. Like, it's so a soothing story. And you running past all these jewels and nuggets. What the hell are we even talking about here? It says, since the advice of men skilled in the Torah was needed in the examination and the causes and the solution of the difficult questions, they were enrolled in who? The Sanhedrin. So now your scribes are officers of the court. Y'all know the Sanhedrin is basically the Supreme Court of the land back in the day. Back in the first century, the Sanhedrin, that's the Supreme Court of the land right there. That's the highest court in the land. So not only are these Negroes adding to the Torah and teaching it, and you know what I mean, doing so to the detriment of everyone's understanding, y'all, they was also officers of the court. So now they not only are they in control of your spirituality, they also got the authority to lock you up and vote to kill you. What is you talking about? So these ain't little enemies like little poop butt, little jokers. Some blood niggas, man. We ain't worried about them. These were some enemies to have, boy. Yeah. Here come Yahshua skipping through, marching through. You feel me? Blowing a hole in all the understanding that they wrote down. Like, man, that ain't even got nothing to do with the Creator. Nothing. He blowing it down. What the scribes doing as his main enemies. They the ones writing the Torah down, right? They the ones giving you the understandings, right? Huh? Yahshua was so feared that they had officers of the court called scribes as his main enemies. These niggas had the authority to kill you. And they control the minds of the people because they the ones in charge of the publication of Torah. Good night. Good night. They were enrolled in the Sanhedrin and are mentioned in connection with the priests, oh my God, and elders of the people. And don't forget, all this is under Roman control as well. You got a Roman Edomite king on the throne, Herod and his sons and them. They're appointing any type of priest according to Josephus. They ain't even following the whole lineage, quote unquote lineage thing. See a Bible dictionary for more information on the scribes. Why are the scribes enemies? And why did Yahshua say, look, unless your righteousness exceeds these niggas, you ain't got a chance. You ain't got a snowball's chance in the lake of fire, player. You don't. Huh? Well, let's go back to it. Matthew 5:20. Nobody ever asked, who are the scribes? And write in your Bible dictionary while you over here licking your fingers trying to find a million precepts. Write in your Bible dictionary. I'm talking about the scribes who were enemies of Mashiach. Now don't forget, Jeremiah told you about these cats. You was warned that they was coming. Think it's a game? I don't know why y'all think we on some lick your finger scholarship not over here. Right at you. What are we talking about? Nobody getting it. Look, man, everybody be in denial when they read stuff like this. Okay, we'll read it in the KJV, and then we're gonna read it in a different version. Jeremiah 8:8. Look at it. I got it, man. Look, I gotta get y'all head about the clouds, man. What Bishop Beck said. Get y'all head about the clouds, player. Get some understanding around here. Look what Jeremiah 8:8 said. It said, how do you say we are wise and the law or the Torah of Yahweh, the Lord, is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain. is in vain. What's up, little Joe? Okay, go get some. Okay. Now watch this. So let's read. You know, some of us don't understand the Victorian English, which I understand. So all you got to do is go right here and go to a different version. Get some understanding. Let's go to the NLT first. What does it say? Get some understanding. So we see the scribes in the New Testament are enemies of who everybody calls Jesus or Yahshua. Enemies. Huh? This is easy work. CGG, we still cooking. What did y'all talk about? Look at this. This is out the NLT version of the Bible. It said, how can you say we are wise because we have the word of the Lord when your teachers, scribes, have twisted it, the word or the law, the Torah, by writing who? Lies. That's when they say the pen of the scribes is in vain. They lying to you. Deceit. That's why they against Messiah, because he came through bombing. Like, nah, that's off. Just like they mad at Creator Gang right now. He come through like, that's a Lord, that's a God, that ain't the Creator. Nah, the Creator don't require blood. Nah, the Creator ain't sanctioning warfare. So all the wars and that y'all happy for and World War III on the horizon, and you over here seal clapping like a seal at the zoo at feeding time. Oi, World War III. Sounding foolish. Creator ain't got nothing to do with none of that. All these are a false unction of a false God. Real spirit. So the NLT say that the scribes, the teachers of the Torah, have wrote lies in it. Now it makes sense why the scribes would be enemies of Yahshua. Let's go to a different version. Go one or two more versions. Where you going with this, Malachi? I'm already know I'm a slow cook. Sometimes you got to slow cook it. You know what I'm saying? Go to the NET. Negroes being denied. Like, bro, it's right there. Like, that's what make what we saying even more powerful. We showing you in Bible first. Ain't nothing to get mad about. It's just what it is. Jeremiah 8:8 in the NET. How can you say we are wise? We have the law or the Torah or Yahweh, the Lord. The truth is, those who teach it, the scribes, have used their writings to make it say what it does not really mean. You can't get around that. Huh? Yeah, Yahshua come around blasting the scribes. You know, officers of the court, that's like the sheriff being your enemy. Huh? These officers of the court, and it's federal. Boy, them some enemies to have. You dig? So as y'all see, Jeremiah 8:8 was already prophesying and showing that scribes at work even in this day was up to some madness. You feel me? Because with the scripture is how you control the minds of the masses. So who's ever writing it down, you dig, and it ain't no pure intention. You dig, and it's under some type of authority. Oh, we got a problem. You can control the minds of the masses. Think about it. Billions of people fall up under the Catholic and Christian umbrella. It's like 2 to 3 billion people in the earth. It's only 8 billion. How do you control the minds of the masses? Through the religious text. Now, if those who are writing it down are compromised, we got a problem. We got a problem. You know what I mean? Let's go back to this Matthew real quick. Show y'all it's a little different. It's a little different going on. Something different. You dig? So now you know the scribes are up to no good. You see the scribes, especially the ones in the gospel. They are enemies. A scribe ain't nothing good in the gospel. They enemies of Yahshua. But we'll say again, for I tell you, unless your righteousness goes beyond that of the experts in the law. Now, hold on. I'll go back to the KJV now. Experts are the scribes. Let's go back to the KJV now. It's easy money. Easy money. Now we know who they are and why they were outright enemies, because they was being exposed for manipulating the minds of the masses. They some powerful enemies to have, boy. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter the kingdom of heaven. Coaching of relationships, Matthew 5:21. So we got to be sincere and considerate in spirit across the board. You can't fall and be a black-hearted, urine-drinking bastard like a scribe or a Pharisee. Oh no, these cats were straight manipulating the masses and was paid for it and was protected by the highest court in the land. What are you talking about? You gotta be better than that, man. Gotta stop pimping your people. I'm trying to get over. Stop being a misfit all your life. Stop being scandal. Just deal with people straight up, man. That's what the world needs: sincerity, transparency. Not all the, there's always some type of plot or some type of hustle or some type of scandal going on. You know what I mean? You don't know when you're dealing with people and they ain't being straight up with you. Like, why is it that when you talk to me, you trying to hustle? You trying to get over? Like, no, I ain't dealing with nobody like that. Look what he said. You have heard it was said by them of old time, you shall not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. Now, that's actually in the commandments. That's in thou shalt not kill. That's in the 10 commandments. So notice, he tell you, you better be better than them scribes, Pharisees, or otherwise you ain't got a snowball's chance in the lake of fire to make it into any type of kingdom, right? And then he goes and says, you have heard that it was said of them of old time. Well, that's actually in the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not kill, right? Look what he said. But I say unto you. Hold on. So yeah, it's written down you ain't supposed to kill, but let me go ahead and put you on game on what like how you supposed to be in spirit when it come down to something like that. Because the scribes out here messing everything up and got you thinking that is something that it ain't. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council. And whosoever shall say thou fool shall be in danger of hellfire. So he's saying this. He like, anger left unchecked leads to murder or killing. So it ain't, they may teach you not to kill, but they're not showing, the scribes in them are not showing you how to cut this off at the root. You over here angry at this brother for, you don't even know why you angry at that brother or sister. You just mad. You just don't like him. Well, that left unchecked leads you to murder somebody. Huh? You angry, you talking bad, you fool. You like, look, you don't even know all these things. That whole mindset is wrong. And that leads to killing. It ain't just good enough to tell somebody they should not kill. What about when the inspiration comes through? You gotta chop these things at the root. Look what he say. He say, therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember that your brother have a problem against you, Or you come to the altar to offer to God, but you remember you and your brother got a problem. Look what he say. Leave your gift before the altar. Leave that right there and go your way. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Like your offerings mean nothing if you and your neighbor ain't good. You and your brother ain't good. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you call yourself doing, means nothing. He said, go get that right first. Right? That's more important than you bringing, and that's what had happened during that time. They just was all outside, cosmetic repentance. Everybody just Oh, okay, yeah, I offended her. Let me go take some turtle doves. Okay, I offended him. Let me go take a bull out. Oh, okay. Like it wasn't no sincerity. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing genuine. It wasn't nothing real. Everything was a hustle. We was desensitized like we are now. You know what I mean? There wasn't no compassion. It was just crazy, man. Now watch this. Right here. It says, "You have heard it was said by them of old time, you shall not commit adultery." You see that? But that's in the Ten Commandments too. All right. So yeah, the scribes write it. But what does that mean? Like, how do you apply it? Look what he say. "But I say unto you that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart." So first you gotta know what adultery is, which is laying with a married woman, right? And once you know what that is, Yahshua will take it a step further and say, if you over there, you know what I mean, got hot loins for a woman that belongs to somebody, look, the adultery has already been committed in your mind, your heart. And that left unchecked, you gonna be over there googly-eyed, you know what I mean? You got a man, yeah, you happy. You got a man or a boyfriend, you know, all that extra, you know what I mean? She got somebody trying to cut that off. Cut it off then. Like, ain't nothing you play with. Cut that. Because left unchecked, is going to be some hip bones being knocked loose. And it's going to be all bad, man. See? Now watch this. Right here. 5:31. It had been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. All right. Now that's actually that's Leviticus the 24th chapter. Like she burned your grits, you can slap her across the wig with a divorce bill and send her on her way. You don't like the way her face look when she falls into a deep sleep. Hey, you know what I mean? You can have the divorce bill waiting on the nightstand. So by the time she roll over and wake up and wipe the crust out of her eyes and get that death off her breath, she realize like, oh yeah, baby, it ain't gonna work out. You know what I mean? You sleep to it. There really wasn't no way to really check a man putting away his wife. So even in marriage, it wasn't sincere. It wasn't genuine. Right? So this thing affected society all over. You know what I mean? All over the land back in the day. That's what it was. Nothing was genuine. Nothing was sincere. A man can put away his wife just because he don't like the way her fart smell. It really ain't nothing to govern. Right? And the scribes are writing it down. You understand? But the true understanding of what these things mean ain't being brought forth. Right? So look what he say. It hath been said, whosoever shall put away his wife. So whenever he say it has been said, it means it's written down. You've been heard this. You've been taught this your whole life growing up. It hath been said, whoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, but I say unto you, it's written down. You gotta go ahead and give her a bill of divorce. You know. I don't know. You just got a problem. It's just eat the cake anime. You know what I mean? She walking on eggshells and needles around her. Everybody's scared to say something. Like, what the hell going on? For fear of being divorced for the slightest infraction. So he's saying, yeah, it's written down, but I'm saying that whosoever shall put away his wife, save him for the cause of fornication or being unfaithful, causes her to commit adultery. So you over here putting her away just because you don't like the way, just because her food tastes like wood. And bro, you should have known how she cooked before you bury her, but still, that ain't no, if you putting her away outside of her being unfaithful, then you causing her to get out there, you know what I mean, and commit adultery because she still belongs to you. That ain't no valid divorce. All right? And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committed adultery. Good night. Man. Man, it's serious out here. You did. But notice, the reason I'm going here is to show that he's teaching different than what's written down. You see? Yahshua is teaching different than what was written down. And the proof of that is his number one enemies were the scribes, who are the ones writing down the Torah. Oh. Yeah, he teaches different. It say this, I say this. It says this, I say this. Huh? Now watch this one right here. This one, I was tripping out for it like, dang, that's crazy. And then we gonna jump. All right, look what it say. Again, you have heard that it have been said of them of old time. Why he keep saying that? That is right. Is right in the written Torah you got, right? By them of old time. Thou shalt not forswear yourself, but shall perform unto the Lord your oaths. That's Leviticus chapter, that's Numbers chapter 30. Yeah, whatever you vow, you gotta pay that. Huh? Look what he say. So it's written down, you can, take your vows and oaths and all that. But look what Yahshua say. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shall you swear by your head, because you cannot make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Hold on, what does that mean? Comes of evil. He say anything more than a yes and a no is evil. Now, trip off what it's saying in a different version of it. What you mean? Hold on, because it's in the Torah that you can vow. You got to pay your vows though. He say it's written down. You can vow and do oaths and all that. He's saying don't do it at all. A yes and a no is sufficient. You shouldn't be out here binding yourself to no type of oath or no type of vow. A yes and a no is good enough. If it's more than a yes or no, it comes of evil. What does that mean? Let's look. Same verse. Go to the NLT. What does it say right there? Just say a simple yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the who? The evil one. The evil one. Dang. Hold on, because the ESV, no, NET. Where the NET at? Right here. Let your word be yes, yes, or no, no. More than this is from the evil one. The ESV, but let your speech be yea, yea, nay, nay, and whatsoever is more than these is of the evil one. The evil one is the damn devil. What is we talking about here? Huh? What is we talking about here? Let's go show. Dang, because you got a law where you can go ahead and do your vows. If I ain't mistaken, right? I ain't mistaken, right? Right there. Yahshua is saying anything more than a yes or a no is from the evil one. It's evil. The law of vows, hold on. That's in Torah. That's written down. That's written down. Who wrote it down, Malaki? Some scribe wrote it down. And Yahshua just spoke against this law of vows right here. Said a yes or no is good enough. Anything outside of that is from the evil one. The damn devil. I can hear you, Millie Mouth Misfits. Now I'm making this stuff up. I done lost the light. It's right there. What is you not looking at? It's right there. You have been heard and been said of them of old time. Huh? Numbers 30:1. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. If a man vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Dang. But we go back to what Yahshua say, nah, anything outside of that is of the evil. We ain't even gonna play with that. You see? So who we call Yahshua was teaching opposite of what was written down. And that's what made him a threat to the scribes. The scribes were very, very powerful men. These wasn't no cats you take your eye off. They like the feds. Like, you know what I mean? Like they officers of the court. So they in charge that they can detain your physical body, and they're responsible and control of the minds of the masses. They're compromised and writing down Torah, which is the main book that's in charge of spirituality at that time. Good night, boy. Good night. I already know. I can hear you now. But Mally, nah, I ain't trying to hear none of that. We slow cooking. We slow down, show you definitions and all that. Ask the important questions. You dig? Go back and read and say, well, dang, he is teaching. He's teaching more than what's written down. And in some cases, opposite. But I say unto you. And he told you your righteousness better be better than them scribes, or you ain't getting in no type of kingdom. And here you go believing everything the damn scribes wrote down. He told you, the niggas that's writing it down, your righteousness better exceed theirs. Because they ain't right. And here you go, every sentence, every period, every comma, every colon, every semicolon, every bracket, you believe it all from cover to cover. Yahshua didn't. What he was teaching, he kept telling you he got from his father. Got that from my father. I ain't get that from no man. Got that from my father. I ain't get that from what the scribe wrote in the book. I got that from my father. I know some of y'all done spilled your coffee, your yak. You're probably cursing me over your meat and eggs for breakfast. Whatever. Huh? All praises to the great spirit, the creator, the God maker, the maker of suns, moons, and stars. Right there. There's another one. Matthew 5:43. You ever heard that it been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy, which would be the other nations. In the first century paradigm, that's who it would be. Look what he say. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Wow. That's total opposite of that's total opposite. 45. That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun, check this, to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love them which love you, what reward are you? Do not even the publicans the same. We brought out the publicans, which are the Roman tax collectors. We got to be in part of our society for us to, rock with you. If not, no benefits for you. And if you salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans, publicans so. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. The whole point of going there was just to show that Yahshua had a different understanding than what was written down at the time. And that's why the scribes were his enemies. Nobody ever asked those questions. Why were the scribes? Ain't the scribes the one writing it down, teaching it, adding to it? Ain't that who you go to get some understanding about what Torah means? These is them cats, right? Let's get into this right here. You know, the CGG, we got so many presentations on deck, man. That's crazy. But we're going to talk about Yahshua the Insane. Go on to some of his teaching. All right, Son of the Great Spirit, number 11, Yeshua the Insane, 146 BCE. The time frame is a little different than what biblical theologians are claiming. You know what I mean? But they can't even agree in the Bible when Yahshua was born. They don't know if he was born during the days of Herod or during the time when it was a worldwide taxing, when Cyrenius was governor over Syria. That was in 7 CE of the common. That was over 10 years after the death of Herod. See what I'm saying? These are two different time periods. So Yahshua born at two different times. In Matthew chapter 2, in the days of Herod, and in Luke chapter 2, when Cyrenius was governor over Syria. Those two events, those two time periods are at least a decade apart. Can't be born in both. All right. So this right here, what you see right here is the timetables of prophecy. It'll give you all the different arc cycles, the name of the archangels that was over the cycles. You know what I mean? And what era of man it was. All right. So we dealing with the Ark of Bond, 24th arc cycle. Coming toward the ending of it. Well, no, not even the ending of it. During the time of Yahshua. All right, now watch this right here. Watch this right here. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. The whole point is to show that the teaching, you can tell from the man's teachings and doctrine if they are sent by Creator or not. All right. Want to snatch the image. Copper color brother. Chapter 44, God's Book of Esther. Oh, I speak. If y'all getting some understanding thus far, y'all go ahead and drop a 7,000 in the chat. Let's work. Let me grab me some water real quick. Drop a 7,000 in the chat if y'all get some understanding. And let's go read this higher light. Let's deal with it. Because all Israelites and Christians have to change their minds about the Creator, period. There would never be unity of peace on any level. On any level. All right, check this out real quick. Get her done. I see the 7,000s in the chat. All right, drop this down. Dang, turn that up. All right, let's cook. Let's cook. All right, God's Book of Esther, dealing with speed, chapter 44. We dealing with doctrines of Yahshua. They're saying on Messiah, right? So right here. God said, these were my doctrines as I taught through Joshua. Look what he says. You shall keep the 10 commandments of Moses. Look what he tell you. That's what I'm saying. Like he reestablishes what the real Moses was teaching. The real Moses was the son of light, son of the Creator. So you know, Moses was in 1553 BCE. You know what I mean? And now you're dealing with Yahshua in 146. So you're dealing with what, 1,400 years later. You know what I mean? Creator sends another son of light. And look what he say. He reestablishes what Moses was teaching. You shall keep the 10 commandments of Moses. You shall not engage in war. Why? Because one of the commandments is you should not kill, right? That's how we know. You seal clapping, you amped about World War III. You like the world finna end. They about to launch Scud missiles into Lebanon, and they about to drop the nuclear bomb on. Like, look, what are you so happy about? As if the Creator even condones this type of madness. War is ugly business. See, the real Messiah or any son or daughter of light would not be condoning war, nor telling you or encouraging you, nor benefiting off of it. He come right out and tell you, keep the 10 commandments of Moses, and then tell you about not engaging in war nor bet in war. Why? You should not kill. It's simple. It's simple. Look at this. You think it's a game? What you think we playing? Y'all must think we playing. Watch this. Look what it say. Next one. You shall eat no flesh of any animal, fish, bird, fowl, or creeping thing that the Creator created alive. Good night, because that falls up under thou shalt not kill too. You dig? And for on the record, we not, of course, bragging and making it seem as if we better than anybody is because, we stopped chewing on loin meat or, Nah, it ain't never that. That's really the easy part of this whole thing, is to change your diet. It get real when you got to start purifying your thoughts. It's like, man, that's what a war is. You know what I mean? But all these men that the Creator sent were dealing on a higher frequency. I can hear you now, but no, I'm gonna eat my lamb, my goat, and I hear you. But see, I'm one of them brothers that know the nation's sick. Like I already know. Like men suffer from high blood pressure, diabetes, and they ain't even eating gout, and they ain't even eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobsters anymore. Supposedly, they eating lamb and goat. You know what I mean? Cheeseburgers and turkey legs, and of course they're yard bird. Good night, every part of the yard bird. But still sick though. See, the men and women that was dealing on a higher level, they stopped chewing on the animals. Especially in this time, man, you really ain't got no excuse. You can get right on Pinterest and find you a recipe for something. You know what I mean? Easy money, but you'll see that all these men who came and were sent by the Creator to handle their business, they all rocked a certain way. It was against the warfare, it was against killing, and they wasn't chewing on the back of any animal. You know what I mean? But there ain't no rush. Look, you get there when you get there. Just know, in order to begin your ascension and your resurrection, you feel me, or to level up in spirit while on earth, that's a hurdle you got to cross. That's a hurdle you got to jump over. Is your diet that got to be addressed? What you throwing down your trap got to be addressed. You know what I mean? But look, you got to deal with that, not me. So all I can do is encourage you. I can't be the one to be like, look, woman, your reproductive system is gonna rot and burn forever if you keep chewing on them gizzards. No, I ain't doing it. No, I ain't doing it. I can only encourage you. Like, no, you better than that. Watch out. You good. You know what I mean? But outside of that, it ain't no type of judgment or none of that. But in order to begin that ascension that everybody looking for, one of the first things you got to do is purify. It's purity. Real spirit. It is. You should dwell in families in the manner of the ancient who? Israelites. Israelite for life, baby. Who held all things in common. That's what you see at the end of the book of Acts, chapter 2, Acts chapter 4. They had all things in common. They dwelt in community. That's how we supposed to be living. And the reason for that is because that's how the high-raised angels live. They're not isolated and solo. They live in communities in the higher heavens. So when it's something that need to get done and Creator send word, they all move out in one concentrated force as one unit, and they focus on getting the job done. Feel me? We supposed to live, we supposed to mimic that while on earth. You see what I'm saying? Watch this. You shall have no king or queen. King David, King Solomon. You shall have no king or queen, nor bow down and worship to any except who? Your creator. Who can argue with that or get mad at that? Who? No, you can't get mad at nothing like that. You're gonna be looking goofy out here. That makes sense. Why does another man or woman have to rule over you? That go for you chitlin eating pastors too. Why do the people need a man or a woman that stank just like them in the morning? Like, how could you ever bow to something like that? Only your creator, man. Only the one who got you pulling air through your bull nostrils right now. That's it. And that should nobody have a problem with that. Should nobody have a problem with that. Look at this. This is what the real Yahshua that he's saying was teaching. Should nobody be mad? Should nobody be lip fumbling? You should not call on the name of angels to worship them. Come on now. Nor to counsel with them on the affairs of earth. So a lot of us claim you're in this ancestral communion and you're spiritually communicating and all that, which is understandable. Yeah. Spirit world is real. You know what I mean? But why are you worshiping angels? Why are you? I call on the spirit of Harriet Tubman. To help me get out this situation. What are you doing? All you can do is be determined to get about what situation you in and ask the creator to guide you. Here you go, calling on the spirit of Nat Turner and think you about to kick off some revolution if you don't go sit down somewhere. You Negroes ain't about to kick off nothing. It will end in a nanosecond. Look at this. You should love your neighbor as yourself and do to your fellow man as you would have them do to you. We all grew up hearing this. There should be nobody mad right now. There should be nobody foaming at the mouth. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be none of that. All that is straightforward highlight. That's what it is. So why are you searching for a reason to argue with what you're hearing? That's something going on inside you. Everything we've been reading is solid. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, look at this. You want to be respected, give it. Treat everybody how you want to be treated. Makes sense. You get out what you get back what you put out, right? You shall return good for evil and pity to those who sin. Like, I start feeling sorry for these niggas. There you go get in. What you angry at them for? You should start feeling sorry for those who are, outside the path of light or, on their path of darkness. You should pity them. You dig? That's what we do with the conscious community. We pity the conscious community, the Christian community, the Israelite community. It's Israelite for life. Everybody know that. But now we got to address character, behavior. That tell you pity to those who sin. Look at this. It has been said, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. But I say return good for evil. So non-resistant. And there's a reason for that. Because once you answer that fire with fire and you send somebody on up out of here, you dig? Now you're responsible for that spirit, and you just brought affliction on the angels who are responsible for receiving the spirits of the dead. You don't went over and killed this man and caused a premature birth in the spirit world. Man, learn to get about the way, man. You know what I mean? Even the Bible tell you, man, keep thee far from an angry man. What is you over there trying to rub shoulders with somebody that's angry, that's powerful, that's furious, and got more money than you? Man, I'm out of here. To be around these niggas, man, crazy. They can go left real quick. We heard this before, and if a man hits you on one cheek, turn the other to him also. Oh, now this where Negro's about to lose it right here. This is where Negro's about to lose it right here. The man shall have only one wife, and the woman only one husband. Good night. So no polygyny, or what they call the woman. They got multiple rods. What's that called? Yeah, I put it in the chat. What is it called? So polygyny is the man that got the multiple women. But when the woman got multiple of these sucker ass niggas, that's called is it polyandry or something? I forgot. It's something like that. All right. So it says, so Yahshua teaching that a man only supposed to have one wife and a woman only supposed to have one husband. Solid. Now a lot of Negroes, to no avail. You mad, probably snotting. Or you may find yourself in a situation where you already are in covenant, where you just got to handle your business. You know what I mean? You bound yourself. That's what that is. You bind yourself to your spouse or your spouses. Oh, yeah, you got to handle your business. That's if you're a man. You know what I mean? You took on 1,100 wives, Jack. Hey, I don't care. You know what I mean? Hey, all I can say is handle yours. You dig? But notice what the doctrine is. You know what I mean? Like all that, having a harem of hoes and King Solomon. Man, look, he putting you on game, letting you know, like, look, all you need is one. What is you doing? You know what I mean? Especially today, boy. Good night. But hey, if you can make it work, make it work. Well, as the children honor the father, so will the family be blessed with peace and plenty. Remember that all things are of the Creator, and you are his servants to who? Help one another. And as much as you do these services to one another, so do you serve the Creator. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. So that we got Yahshua and some of his teachings from back then. You did, gave you the time period, 146 BCE. Bible gave you 2 different time periods of when he was born. So, even if you didn't believe it, you still got to deal with Matthew chapter 2 and Luke chapter 2. Both of those are different time periods. He either was born during the days of Herod or the days of when Cyrenius was governor over Syria. Let's go read about Moses a little taste. Moses of North Arabia, Africa, 1553 BCE. Of course, we got the timetable on there. You know what I mean? 24th arc cycle. See right here, Moses, China, and Capelia. So Africa, China, India. These 3 great men were born at the same time, around 1593 BCE. By the time they was 40 in 1553 BCE is when they got the commission to handle their business. 24th arc cycle since the creation of mortals started in 1553, ended in 1848 of the Common Era. Ark of Ba. All right, so the different thing about us, we give you a time period. We just ain't slinging mud. Oh yeah, man, that was roughly heard. Who was that said that? Oh, that was roughly 3,000 to 12,000 years ago. What do you mean, roughly 3,000 to 12,000 years? How does that make a lick of sense? You just gonna leave me a spread of 9,000 years? Moses, Amenemhet IV, could he be Moses? Could he be Moses? Ark of Bond, chapter 20. I'm going to read this one first. Moses grew and became a large man, being of pure Ahuan, copper-colored of great strength. Yes, Moses was a melanated brother. Large, too, big dude. And Pharaoh, having no son, like Amenemhet III didn't have a son, having no son, bestowed his heart on Moses and raised him as a prince, having provided him with men of great learning to teach him. Moses was master of many languages and also made acquainted with kings and queens and governors, foreigner, and he espoused the cause of the king, whose dominions held 7 kingdoms beyond Egypt as tributary kingdoms which paid taxes to Pharaoh. Moses was that dude. Moses was that dude. Straight up. All right, now watch this right here. Okay, that's Palandry. Yahoo, good looking. Chapter 20, Ark of Bond, Moses. Now look at this. Oh, I speed. Now you may hear some of these books and be like, man, what book? Where is that? You know, one of the main books we read out over here is the book of Owaski, the book of Skyr Spirit. They're like 1,500 pages long, deep. You know what I mean? And it gives it a very unique perspective on not just biblical situations, but I'm talking about all the divisions of the earth and what was going on at different time periods. You know what I mean? The archaeology that's still being dug about the earth that confirmed it. It'd be like, whoa. You know what I mean? It'd get crazy. Now watch it. Moses called together the heads and the rabbis privately, spoke before them, saying, what I have taken upon me, O Creator, behold, your sons and daughters have followed me out of Egypt. How shall I bind them to you and not to me, O my Father in heaven? How shall I bind them to you and not to me, O my Father in heaven? Jehovah said to me, Moses, what I say to you, say to the rabbis and to the heads, saying to them, not Moses, nor the heads, nor the rabbis brought you out of Egypt. You were brought out by the Creator, Jehovah, who is God of all, captain of all, head of all, Rabbah of all. For in this, I think this is a game. For in this I have drawn the line between my people and my enemies, the idolaters of men, the idolaters. Because of signs and miracles, the idolaters make a man God. Huh? Remember that. Because of signs and miracles, the idolaters make a man God of their magician and worship him. But who is like you, Moses, my son, in miracles? Who can match you in the magnitude of your proceeding? So he like, the magicians get worshipped amongst the idolaters, right? And they can't hold a candle to you, Moses, who led forth my millions and delivered them out of great power without loss of a man, woman, or child. But I declare to you, you should do a greater miracle than any of these. For you shall preserve yourself becoming an idol before men. For you shall proclaim me to your people in all things, teaching them that you are only a man, and your heads and your rabbis shall likewise teach them the same. For I will put away all idolatry from the face of the earth. You see that? Any true son or daughter of the Creator gonna let it be known. Don't worship me. I'm a man. Any angel or God or goddess sent by the Creator gonna tell you, don't worship me. I'm just an older brother of yours or older sister. You see? Look at this. Neither will I have kings nor queens. I am sufficient for all men. We just read Yahshua said the same thing. This is what he came to reestablish 1,400 years later. What the Creator is telling Moses 1,400 years before. Right? You don't have no king or no queen. None of that. Right? Only me. Don't bow down and worship, none of that. Only me. See? As Abraham apportioned my people into who? Families. Well, that's what Yahshua did. Remember, Yahshua restored the ancient doctrine of Moses. We just read that in Esther 44. And we see Moses was given the same exact foundation and told, well, your forefather Abraham, who was, let me see, 2,400 years earlier, 3953 BC, he was doing the same thing. And I'm showing this because those who the Creator put a light on, those who the Creator put, breathe on to bring out certain things, reveal certain things, they all taught the same exact understanding. And they all lived at different time periods. They lived in different divisions of the earth. They didn't even know each other. But here they go teaching the exact same thing. How is this possible? Make that make sense. And then ask yourself, why is it 45,000 different denominations in Christianity? You did? Right there. And my commandments, which I gave to Abraham, same exact ones. And my commandments, which I gave to Abraham, I will give to you. And I will reestablish my crescent with my rabbis, and my crescent shall be the fullness of my law for the rabbis and chief rabbis. Moses said, I cried to the Creator, saying, how shall it be with the square at high noon? Let's keep going down there. Let's keep going. Watch this. And when it was night, Moses with the rabbis and the heads went aside, placing sentinels so they would be alone. And when they were thus prepared, the light of the Creator came upon Moses. And the books of the ancients were opened before him. And he administered the rites of faithism, the accompany, the rites of faithism upon them. By the voice of the Creator, he reestablished it with all the rites and ceremonies as they are to this day. And after that, the heads were no longer called heads, but chief rabbis, for Moses anointed them by the command of the Creator. See that? See that? That's just Moses getting this line of light and understanding and all this stream of wisdom directly from Creator. But what he's reestablishing is what Abraham had 2,400 years before him. And then with Yahshua, Messiah, reestablished what Moses had 1,400 years before him. They're teaching the exact same thing, even though they live at different time periods, never knew each other, different divisions of the earth, all that. You know what I mean? Oh, 13. And in not many days, Moses wrote the Levitican law. So we got the oral traditions, the rites, the ceremonies right here. And this is what the real Israelites follow. It's called the accompany, or the rites of faithism, right? The inner temple, the Essenes, the Nazarenes, all them, they follow this. All right, not the Levitican laws. And this is what the scribes were manipulating. You know what I mean? Adding to. That's what they was doing. But Yahshua wasn't insane. He already was living by the higher light. He wasn't playing with these cats. You dig? Look at it right. And in not many days, Moshe wrote the Levitican laws. For the inner temple of the Creator was in spoken words only. See? But the outer temple was written, so that it was said the Hebrews have two laws, one which no other man knows. That's the path of the real Israelite right there. It's all oral and traditional, but it's higher light. It's not Talmud. So they have two laws, one that no other man knows, and one for those who are not eligible by faith, being those who are called who? Leviticans. You ever seen they got a King Levitical? Y'all seen the movie is two parts to it, Rebel Moon. They got a King Levitica in there. I said, oh hell no, that's crazy. Those who are called Leviticans, but not Leviticans in fact, but hangers on, who had followed the Israelites out of Egypt, and who for the most part had no God, little judgment, and no learning. See? So the Levitican laws were written for hangers on, strangers, those who didn't have no part. They didn't have no God. They had little judgment, no learning. That's what those laws, that's who those laws were written for. And you got people today ready to die over the book of Leviticus. The way he cried. Like, bro, that was written for the hanger on. Those who weren't even eligible by faith to even approach the inner sanctuary. That ain't for you. But regarding all that Moses did and taught, how he labored with his own hands, many books could be written. And it's doubtful if the world ever produced another so good and great a man. Good night, good night, good night. Let's jump up here. If y'all get some understanding so far, drop a 3,000 in the chat. Drop a 3,000 in the chat, man, for the Arc Cycle with Cosmine. We over here still. CGG still cooking. Let's go back up some more. Let's go deal with Abraham. This is a presentation that we put together a while ago. I was scrolling through it. I was like, man, look, let me jump over here and, tighten some things up real quick. Oh, you got okay, Antonio Blake. It's Jesus. Oh, okay. And look, we already know. We already know you full of the Jesus juice, buddy. We ain't got no problem with the real Yahshua. The problem is y'all done turned Jesus into Jehovah. Jesus is Jehovah these days. He's the God of the Old Testament. Jesus is the one you worship, the one who was born to Mary, came through the womb of a woman. You are worshiping him. That's where you go off as a Christian. Yes, his teachings was different than what was written down. Here y'all go worshiping this man. We go read no Waspi. He tell you flat out, don't worship no man, no angel. Don't go to war, don't be eating flesh, don't be doing none of that. Only creator. The Jehovian law, that's right. The rights of faithism, brother. It's all good. All right, so this right here, we're dealing with our dear beloved forefather Abraham. Abram. Now 3953 BCE. This was the 23rd arc cycle. Arc of speed up. And it was from 3953 to 1353 BCE. Arc of speed. 4 great men born during the same time: Abraham, Brahma, Poe, and Iwata. Iwata of America. Shout out to our OG. Shout out to the Aboriginal community. Worshippers of the Great Spirit. You did? All right, bang. Bang. Right here. Chapter 8, first book of God. Now this deal hit. I'm telling y'all, go grab y'all one of them Wasp people. That deal hit. That deal hit like steel, to be honest with you. Alright, we'll read some of that real quick. Yeah, man, like, look, your mind must be changed about who the creator is. Or there will never be unity in the Christian communities, the Israelite communities, none of that. You can cancel that. No way. Yeah, he did. He said, our Father. Our Father. Great. All right, look at this word. No deal with Abraham. Easy money. Easy money. All right, let me see one man thing. Right here. So chapter 8, first book of God, OSP, the first Phoenician Bible, being of Abram, a man chosen by God for the children of Arabia. Arabia is Africa. Matter of fact, I start right here. Out of the host of Persia, who were of the people of Shem, who existed since the days of the flood, came Abram, a man chosen by God in the Ark of Speda, to show you that, for the deliverance of the faithless of Africa, or Arabia. God said, because they have not raised up out of the sons of Ham, your name shall become Abraham, and it shall be testimony in thousands of years of my records in the libraries of heaven. So right out the gates look different than what you read, because you read his name was changed from Abram, exalted father, to Abraham, a father of many nations, right? But this says, no, the reason it went from Abram to Abraham is because there was no prophet raised up out of the people of Ham. You know what I mean? It took a man from Shem named Abram who came into Ham's land and, you know what I mean, raised the light over that way, right? And it came to pass that forgers and deceivers, not having the fear of the Creator before them, falsely gave the interpretation of the meaning of the words Abraham, not knowing in thousands of years that in so small a matter he would display the truth and glory of his revealed word. So you're dealing with false interpretations. Who write down the interpretations? Who write down the Torah and the, the precepts? It's the scribes. Abram was of pure blood, and Ahuin, just like Moses. 2,400 years later. See, they all had the same type of, bloodline. Abram was of pure blood and Ahuin, and the light of Suis had been with his forefathers, the foremothers since the flood. So he come from a long line of clairvoyant. They into all that telepathy, telekinesis, they clairvoyant. Highly sensitive to the spirit world. They can hear and see and communicate with the spirit world. That's what that Suis is. It's the ability to operate, communicate with the spirit world. So he already come from that. And he was large, just like Moses, and red like new copper. And had black hair and long beard, first to look upon. But his soul was gentle as a woman. So Abraham was an ugly joker. Like he wasn't a joker you look over and be like, dang, boy, what? He looked like a killer. Nah, his soul was gentle as a woman, But he was first. One of them ones. Well, you look over that way, boy. Hey, it mess around be some commotion. Abram could see without eyes and hear without ears, knowing things by the light of God which dwelt in him. For which reason God chose Abram to gather together the faithful in Arabia and the adjacent countries, even as he appointed Po in Asia or Jaffa. See, so watch me give you a breakdown of these men, time periods, something Abraham would have looked like. Some Abram would have looked like something like that. See, it's giving you a physical description of Abraham. Giving you a physical description of Moses. Telling you, okay, they Ahuin, they're large, they're big, but they tapped in spiritually. They can hear, they can see, they can talk. They're spirits, So Abraham would have looked something like that. First to look upon. Okay. Now let's get into this right here. This is about the sacrifice of Isaac. Right? And the understanding that came with it. It's like, come on now. All you gotta do is ask yourself, are you willing to sacrifice your child? Are you willing to offer up your child as a burnt offering? If the deity told you to. If you were commanded to do it. Yeah, that's what made the Owaski and even the Creator Gang a problem out here. Because we're identifying the flaws that's in the deity. My bad. And let me go here real quick. Let me show you how serious this is. This ain't nothing to play with. Because if the wind skip across your earlobes with too much atmospheric pressure, you're going to kill your child. You're going to offer them up as a burnt offering. A lot of people don't know what that is. That's a burnt offering. That ain't stab Isaac in his side and, watch him bleed out. No, you got to chop his head off. You got to chop his lower extremities off. You got to gut Isaac. Yeah, what you thought? This was just a clean kill. No. Now, if you've been hunting before, after you kill that sucker, you gotta skin him, gut him. Good night. Y'all think it's a game with the game, man. We've been told y'all exactly what this is and how it's gonna go. Now watch this. See, let's go here first. Entertainment for thou. All right, man, slow, baby. Now watch this. Then we're gonna read about the Abraham's sacrifice of Isaac.
right, question for Iz. Would you kill your child, your son, if your God told you to?
You said if the Most High told me to?
Yeah.
Or yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is. Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is.
Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is.
A 22-year-old woman told hotel workers in Holmes County that she had been directed by God, to go on a shooting spree about the solar eclipse, and that not long after she left the hotel in a purple Dodge Challenger driving to the interstate, traveling west, shooting into two cars. One of the drivers was shot in the neck, the other grazed in his arm.
If your God came to you right now, tonight, in pumping glory, shining, and he commanded the death of your child, would you sacrifice your child?
If the Most High is going to do it, of course. If the Most High is going to do it, of course.
If the Most High is going to do it, of course.
Peter Lucas Moses refers to himself as a radical religious person who is with the Black Hebrews. And he just pleaded guilty to killing a four-year-old and a woman that he was living with. He killed the 4-year-old because he thought he was gay.
Moses believed 4-year-old Higginbotham was homosexual. Klein says Moses took Higginbotham to the garage, played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, and shot him.
If God came to you and told you to sacrifice your kid, would you sacrifice your kid?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
God is called a terrible, demon-like power. God is called a terrible, demon-like power. God is called the terrible, demon-like power. So Napa means empty, you could say, or open. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible.
According to the criminal complaint, Polite told investigators God told him to shoot Pastor Germany. And he wanted to go to jail to clear his mind.
Would you kill your child or your grandchild if your God told you to?
Oh, man.
So that's a yes?
Yeah, it's a yes. But I think that it would be a test. I don't think the Lord would actually tell you to do it. I think it would just be a test because we can see.
You'd be willing to go through with it?
I'll go through any trial the Lord puts me through.
He was leader Yahweh Ben-Yahweh, the self-proclaimed Son of God. One day in 1981, her North Dade home became a house of death. Banks and her husband, Carlton Carey, had just returned from talking with police about another Yahweh member who had been decapitated. Today, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is charged in her attempted murder and the death of her husband. October 1986, Yahweh's take over an Ophalaka apartment building. Two residents who were ordered to leave publicly complained. That night, both were shot to death.
Wow! Judah, do you hear me? If the Most High Yahweh tells you to kill your family, would you do it? Yes or no?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
Oh, Judah, no.
Damn.
Judah didn't mean that, y'all.
If the Most High say, put your family down, would you do it for the Most High?
By faith, yes. By faith, yes.
By faith, yes.
But he's going to tell me not to do it, just like he did Abraham. We have a story like that already. Next.
The moral law is that if a child was to be rebellious, towards their parents, they was to be taken down and stoned to death because of that. You see what I'm saying?
Would you do that? Would you do that if your God came back to you today in glory and said, I want you to stone your son if he get rebellious? Would you do it?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would.
Wow.
The Most High was to come to you and ask you to off your loved ones. Would you do it, brother?
If I had made them,
Look how arrogant this Negro look. He straightened up his Kofi. Hold on. This Negro here, boy. I swear these cats be swearing that they so smart. They half retarded, man. Look at this cat face. Look at the arrogant schmuck on his face. That smirk, should I say. You got to look so arrogant. Look at that. Look at him. Got to straighten his little beanie out real quick, man. Stop it. All to justify you killing something. Come on, man. These Negroes is sickening. Ain't no way in the world I'll leave my short leggers or any of my family around you Negroes. Too much atmospheric pressure skip across your earlobes. It's a wrap. Watch this.
I probably would. Yeah, I would.
Wow.
The Most High was to come to you and ask you.
Look at his face. What?
To off.
Look how he look. He yawned. He gonna rub his thumb across his nose.
Your loved ones.
Look at him looking like this. I've been waiting on you to ask me this. The nerve of the Negro. Look at this. This is your boy. He got the nerve to call himself Moses. This is Moses. I did, brother Moses. This is this Negro who goes by the YouTube moniker of Moses 777. This Negro. And he got the nerve to look arrogant. He's smirking. He straightened up his kofi. You know, all to justify you would kill some children if you got inspired to. Man, we will put you niggas in the trunk somewhere. I'm gonna play with you. I wish you would skip through here talking about something. You about to perform a judgment of Almighty God on one of our babies. Boy, we about to listen to me. They might not ever find you behind something like that. Nah, steer clear of us. How about that?
Would you do it, brother?
If I had made the mistake, if I didn't have ancestors inside of me and I made the mistake to make babies with outside nations, and then I heard the download from my ancestors saying that you need to put them away, yes, I will put them away. Yes, I will put them away.
He made the mistake and had ancestors within him. And his ancestors just so happened to boil up from him eating something too spicy the night before. And he wake up ready to blow all his drawers out. He on the toilet crying, and he just get an inspiration from the smell that dropped out to rear him into that commode. Like, I think I want to, gee whiz, I think I'm going to kill my mixed children. Look, these are supposed to be you Negroes, gatekeepers. These are supposed to be the men who have all the answers. These are supposed to be basically the scribes of today, these men. And he just waved it off, just so desensitized. Yes, I will put them away. Man, if you don't, man, listen to me, boy. Look, y'all know what to say and who to say it around. I'm just going to leave that there.
Okay, Judah Nazareth, if the Most High come to you and say, I want you to put down your family, I have a better movement for you that I need.
With damn Japanese letters on his hat. He's making every attempt to sound somewhat scholarly or whatever. But stop it. Not damn one of you Millie Mouth misfortunate said, no, I'm not going to do that. Hell no. Why we ain't hear a hell no? We heard a hell yeah, didn't we? Look, Hall over here talking about some hell yeah. And look, Hall ain't even got no children. So he talking about your children. Huh? We got over here, we got Judah Nasty right here earlier in the clip saying, if the Most High told me to do it, of course. Nobody said, hell no, I'm not doing it. No, we ain't supposed to be killing. Second, offer up my son as a who? My baby girl is a man. If you don't get the hell away from me with all that. That's how you talk to spirit when it come knocking, tempting. You talk to that sucker like it's a nigga standing next to you. He's just a person without a body. Man, if you don't get up off my porch with all that, hell no, I'm not doing that. That's how you gotta get. Stop looking at it like it's spooky. Inspiration comes from a spirit, a person without a body. It lived, died, and crossed over. And there are low-hanging fruit, low vibrating spirit, because it's attempting to inspire you to do something evil and dark. But it's easy. You talk to your son and say, boy, sit down. It's as easy as you can talk to these spirits and tell them, hell no, your breath stank. Get the hell away from me. No, I'm not doing that. Nah, trick no good. All these cats are saying, hell yeah. Yes.
Need you to do. Would you do it?
They're out of here. They're out of here.
Y'all got the nerve to even think somebody like that could even, come close to, I don't even know, out-presenting us, debating us, or whatever. How? These are baby killers. These are men, these are professed baby killers. You can't compare them to the gang. How? Let's get to this first book of God, chapter 9. I speak. Now, after Abram and his people had returned to Jireh, his camp, and it was night, God said to Abraham, be steadfast and show your people so that they may understand my words. And while they were still praying before the altar, God withdrew from Abraham and allowed the evil angels who had followed them from Sodom and Gomorrah to draw near the altar. So Abraham's God. Remember, God ain't the creator. God is just a one-time man. He rose to the rank of God after he passed over. So Abraham has a God. This guy ain't the creator, but knows what he told him. He said, be steadfast, stand on it. Remember what I taught you. Remember what I've been showing you. Be steadfast and show your people so they may understand my words. Right? So when God withdrew, or at any time when a highly spiritual man or woman withdraw themselves from a situation, angels of darkness rush in. You know what I mean? That's why you got to be real, careful and understanding about the company you keep and who you got around you. You dig? Because if he or she is a solid one that's locked in with Creator, you dig? And they finally leave a situation, remove themselves from it, and then it seems like all hell break loose. Yeah. You dismiss the real one, and by doing that, you invited all these angels of darkness, all these influences of darkness to be around you. See, you always keep it solid with those that's solid, that you understand, that's being real with you, sincere, transparent, all that good stuff, because that's who you want around you. You want people like that. You know what I mean? You don't want no yes men and women. You don't want no parrots. You want somebody around you that's gonna be real with you, that got your back, your flank. Like, hey, look, bro, you know what I mean? Watch out right here. That don't look too good. What you do that for? You tripping. That's who you need around you. So saying that to say, God withdrew from Abraham and disallowed the evil angels to come on in, who had followed them from Sodom and Gomorrah to draw near the altar. And one of the angels clothed himself in a great light. Look at this. This is an evil angel. But he got the ability to clothe himself in a body of light. So the evil angels got the ability, the false gods have the ability to come appearing exactly how you thought and formed in your mind they would look like. He ain't come with red pantyhose on, pitchfork, smoking a square, a GPC. Huh? Nah, he he clothed himself in a great light and adorned with sparkling gems and a crown. He was decked out. He appeared so all the multitude of people could look upon him. So this cat was looked on. The people saw him. Clothed himself in a great light, threw a crown on, boy, threw on some of them jewels. Everybody was looking. Abraham said, "Who are you?" And the Spirit said, "I am your God." Oh, really? Ruler of heaven and earth. Abraham said, "I am your servant. What may I do for you?" See how you supposed to deal in spirit? Who are you? Who is you? See, you know what I'm saying? You got everybody elevating today, claiming they so spiritual or they a groovy guru, but they're babes when it comes to spirit, to understand it and how to talk and how to handle up when you skip across something that ain't for you. You don't even know what you're listening for. And okay, what if he says something that's opposite of what the creator is on? What you gonna do then? These cats I heard selling spirit to everybody, man. Right? Notice Abraham say, "Who are you?" First thing, straight shooter. Shoot straight. Who is you? All right, so now you got to answer. Remember, they ain't nothing but one-time men. What is you scared of? Right out the gate, straight shoot. Not no crazy-ass seance or, whispering in your inside voice and, tarrying for the whole. No, we ain't doing none of that. Who is you? The Spirit answered, "I am your God." Oh, well, this ain't Abraham God, but the Spirit got the ability to announce himself as his God and to appear totally opposite of what you think somebody evil would look. "I am your servant, and what may I do for you?" And the Spirit said, "You should take your only son Isaac and your hopes who were with you at Sodom and Gomorrah and go with me, for I will lead you. For I have a great work for you." All right, so what you can take out of that is, how do you communicate when you call yourself talking to spirit? Make sure you clear about what you're saying and shoot straight. Because only in the message are you going to be able to tell if it's of creator or not. Only in the message. Right? Not if it can do a miracle. We just read where the evil angel wrapped himself, clothed himself in a great light. You saw something like that happening in real time, you'll blow your drawers out. That can be perceived as what? A miracle. Not based off any miracle that a spirit does, not based off what it looked like, and not based off what name you calling it. Only the message. The message got to be a clear-cut message from the creator, or guess what? There's somebody pump faking. Somebody lying to you. Abraham said, "I will do whatever you put upon me to do." So in the morning, Abraham and his son Isaac and the host who had been with Abraham to Sodom and Gomorrah assembled together. And Abraham spoke, saying, "Where to, God? Where to, O God?" The Spirit answered, saying, "Take sticks and a firebrand, a torch, and come to the top or the summit of the hill over there, for you shall restore the rights of burnt offerings." Abraham told the people what God had said. So they began, and Isaac carried the bundle of willows that the basket makers used, saying, "This will light the Lord's pieces, but what will you burn for an offering, O Father?" And Abraham said, "God will provide." Sound familiar? And when they ascended to the place, Abraham gathered logs and heaped them up, and Isaac placed the willows. Then the Spirit spoke. We communicate with Spirit in this day, right? Talking to ancestors and spirits be communicating, but you realize ain't nobody put you on game on what to say, how to say. What do we do with it? They ain't even showing you none of this. They just got you meditating with crystals in your bed sheet or your pillowcase, or sleeping with an amethyst on your forehead. Really not telling you how do you operate in spirit when you had these visions or when you had these communications. You know what I mean? Those, we ain't saying the spirit world ain't real, but what do you do? How do you handle up? What do you say? It's a problem if you don't know. And it's a problem if whoever you call your leader keep shrugging his shoulders up like, "I don't know." You keep running, "I don't know" around here. you mean you don't know? Then the Spirit spoke, saying, what shall a man love above all things in the world? And Abraham said, God. The Spirit said, for which reason you shall offer your only son Isaac as a burnt offering, and it shall be testimony before your people that you will obey God, even to the sacrifice of your own flesh and kin. Good night, boy. See what Abraham said? Abraham said, show me that you are God, so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. So now you got to try the Spirit whenever an evil temptation, such as murder, skips across your plate. Guess what you got to do? Guess what you got to do? Show me that you God, player. You got to prove that. You can't just pop off over here and get to running your chops like you that, and you done over here told me to kill my son, offer him up as a burnt offering. Nah, you gotta prove yourself to me first. Not only that, if you my God, you the one told me not to kill, nigga. So what is this? The deity that told you not, or the God that told you not to kill, is not the same God that's telling you to kill now. These are two different deities. But don't nobody peep that. Don't nobody peep that. Let's say God tempted Abraham in Genesis 22nd chapter with murder. And Abraham was willing to murder his son. So God, but last I checked, God can't be tempted with evil. Neither does he tempt any man. He tempted Abraham with evil. What was the evil, Malachi? The murder of his son. And Abraham was willing to do it. Show me that you are God, so that I may not err. For I've been commanded not to kill. And look at this. Look at this. And the Spirit departed away from Abraham, perceiving that he knew the higher law. You see how you cut all that down? You cut right to the chase with this shit. You don't play with no spirit about nothing. Cut right to the, who is you? Okay, what you want? What you got for me? Oh, no, you got to show that. No, because I've been commanded not to do that. You got to prove that. And guess what he do? He loses power. Once you understand, you know the higher way, or the higher law, the higher Torah, or the Creator's Torah. Once you understand that, these angels and forces of darkness have no power over you. None. None. He had to get up out of there. He had to tuck his tail and get up out of there. No games. No games. Nothing to be played with. You see? Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Notice Abraham checked the inspiration of the false god and refused to sacrifice his son. The false god pump faking like he was Abraham's God, departed, perceiving he knew the higher law. Once Abraham tried this evil angel spirit, he lost all his so-called power. Now you know how to deal with a dark spirit. Dang, man. Serious work. Serious work. You gotta know what you know what I mean? And the basics need to be taught, especially if everybody out here claiming they so holistic and spiritual now. But man, when I be in these conversations, I'm trying to tell y'all people don't understand the basics of this. Basics. See what I'm saying? People don't understand the basics, man, and that right there in itself is crazy. But how you don't know this? Like what you over here doing? All right, watch this. We're about to go to the first book of God, chapter 10, dealing with our forefather Abram. Chapter 10. Because now we're gonna get into his teachings. What he was teaching. All right. Y'all get some understanding. Drop a 2,000 in the chat for your little brother, man. I was getting to after that happened. Abraham went to teaching. He went to teaching. Hold on, y'all. Oh, wait. I see y'all in the building. Shout out to my brother Prince in the building. Judah Vaughn. What's the word? Look, so we even got Abraham's actual teachings in Owaski. Owaski is a deep read, man. It's, you know, it's a deep read. I'm like on my 4th time reading it. It's, man, I'm standing, stuff still popping out at me like, dang, I ain't trip off that. That's deep. It's a deep read, man. Shout out to my brother Prince in the building. Shout out to my brother Yahoo is in the building. Shout out to my sister Alana Brooks in the building. Pretty face. What's going on, love? How you be? Who else we got up in here? Sister Belinda Brown is in the building. Love, light, and balance to all y'all. Love, light, balance, and all that good stuff in between, man. Y'all already know. All right, let's get into this chapter 10 and get into some of Abraham's teachings. You see? See, you got to know how to navigate through the spirit world, especially while you're in the flesh, man. Like, what the? Everybody is holistic and spiritual now, but it's like they don't understand the basics, the system and order of the spirit world. They don't understand the basics of the difference between the creator of God and the Lord. Like it's a lot to take in with this. You know what I mean? It's a lot to take in with this, man. But it is greener on the other side of the fence. Once you get the testicular fortitude of a squirrel one day, spiritually speaking. You know what I mean? It is green on the other side of the fence, over this way. It is. You know what I mean? The clarity, you knowing it's at your own pace. You ain't got to be all anxious and about to have a damn anxiety attack and panic attack because, you know, you just ain't on the level. No, this is your life. And you are moving at your own pace. You're either moving forward or you're moving back. But however you're moving is all on you. You know what I mean? Shout out to my brother, the Cloud Kicker, Cosmon Kruger is in the building. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Cal, another one. They got a long list over there, long catalog. Just a plethora of topics. Or how you say it, plethora. A plethora of topics. You know what I mean? So yeah. Check my brother out, man. He go hard. He part of the gang, part of the 4 horsemen. You know what I mean? We come through, we get to ride now. Let's get into Abraham's teachings, though. Abraham has teachings in Owaski. Actual teachings. You know what I mean? On how to navigate through the spirit world and all that. Major. How to set up governments and all that. Major. It did. Check this out. Chapter 10, first book of God, Owaski, body blow. Abraham said, this testimony I declare to you, regarding which your own brethren are witnesses, that even the chosen of God can be deceived by who? Evil angels. Good night. Good night. Here you go. You run around, Kwam Yasher Allah, Yahweh Bahashem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, the Hafa Wara, nigga Baruch Hashem. We the chosen. That just took all the wind out your sails, boy. Abraham come right out after that encounter he had with that evil angel, pump faking like it was his God, and was trying to get him to offer up Isaac as a burnt offering. And Abraham was like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing it. You got to prove to me you God. I've been commanded not to kill. Got up out of there. Soon as dude left and got up out of there, Abraham started teaching. Even the chosen of God can be deceived by evil angels. So is it possible that the one you've been praying to this whole time in reverence, in your prayer breath, is it possible that that one could be an evil angel and not the creator? Because that's exactly what just happened to Abraham. But he tested the spirit and was like, Even though it answered in the name that Abraham was used to calling on, even though it came looking very glorious and magnificent and marvelous, decked out, and even though it clothed itself in a body of light, message was what? Offer up your only son Isaac as a burnt offering, so everybody had know that you devoted to me. Abraham said, what? Nigga, I'm not doing that. You crazy? Boys, you sniffing that shinola? That boy sniffing that shinola, boy. Hell wrong with you? Nah, hell to the no, I'm not doing that. You get the answer from back like that. It's like, dang, hold on. Yeah. Trick, no good. But even the chosen of God can be deceived by evil angels. The chosen of God, whether you identify as an Israelite or a Christian. You identify as an Israelite or a Christian, you are and can be deceived by evil angels. You know, justifying it. For look what an evil angel can do. Vocab alone. To Zoyak. God logic. For they can take any name and form. An evil angel, and this is how an evil angel can fool or deceive the chosen of God, because you so caught up in the name you say. It's Yahuwah. I remember bro told me that one time. I almost, boy, I think I was over drinking something I had no business drinking, boy. It said something about some brother. It's Yahuwah. Man, I ain't never laughed so hard in my life. I was like, man, just the way he said it. I'm like, bro, look, you can't do me like that. You know what I mean? It's Yahuwah, it's Yehovah, it's Yahweh, it's Yahweh, it's Yahweh, it's Yahweh, Yahoo, Ahaya. All of it, man. Jesus, Yeshaya, Yahweh Shai, Yahshua, Yehoshua, all of it. I done heard all the arguments over every pronunciation and name. And here come a waspy later on down the line and tell you an evil angel can take any name and form. In other words, it can come answering in the name you calling on in your prayer breath and looking exactly how you expect it to look. This is how you can be deceived. If you're listening for a name and looking for a thing to look a certain way. And having no fear of God before them declare falsehood or a lie for the truth. Darkness for light. Easy money. Look at this. And also, as you have seen, the evilest of cities, even as well as the purest, may be the abiding place of who? Angels. For which reason you should not seek signs and miracles. Y'all heard that? There you go, looking for some type of miracle or some type of sign, or listening for some type of name, or it looking a certain way. Look, you seasoned for the fryer. You ain't nothing. Look, you ready to go into the fryer to be cooked. Because you tripping off everything other than what you supposed to be tripping off of. You dig? And that's the message the angel is coming with. I don't care nothing about what it looked like. You can have on the flyest Etherian garments known to man, known to angels. If the message is off, if the message is like, yeah, I'll fuck your son, go kill your family for me. Nigga, what? Nah, you gotta prove that, because I've been commanded not to kill. That's how you gotta engage and navigate and talk in spirit. You can't be afraid and scared. These ain't nothing. If they one time men, there are people without physical bodies there. You know what I mean? And you got every right to deny, because it all comes down to your choice. You choose. For which reason you should not seek signs and miracles, for these may be from evil spirits, even though they show their bodies or converse learnedly. It is not in the power of man to know by words and signs or by oaths or promises what is truth. That guilt is what you mean. Hey, look, you looking. If you want to know what truth is, you better not be looking for what a thing look like, what name it say, or if it can do a miracle. If that's where you at, you are seasoned for the fry. You prime real estate for the false guys to go ahead and get it. They can easily deceive you. Got us another one. He's still arguing about how to pronounce a name. Huh? I'm from St. Louis. I know I sound country to most of the continental United States. Some of my cousins just called me. I was just on the East Coast. Some of my cousins was like, man, y'all are country. So you already know every word ain't pronounced the same. So if we was held to pronunciation, would none of us be selected for any type of kingdom that y'all over here talking about and arguing about? And that just said it is not in the power of man to know by words and signs, miracles, or by oaths or promises what is true. If y'all understand that, stop looking for a name to answer to. Stop looking for it to show up exactly how you expect in your brain or in your mind. And don't be tripping on no type of miracle to get done. So what is that? Only listen for the message, because all they can get done and an evil message come through. And because you so focused on what you're not supposed to be focused on, you go do it. Basics. They don't got the basics of the spiritual world 101. You don't got the basics of it, man. And these cats I heard, I'm talking about what's that boy name? They got wrecked, Billy Carlson. Man, we were running circles around these characters. He's telling you the emerald tablets of Thoth and making shit up as he goes. Like, come on, bro. Like, stop it. He ain't even gave you the basics. And one of the main basic understandings is you ain't to be tripping off a name a spirit answer to, what it look like, or if it can do a miracle. You're only supposed to be listening for the message. What's the message? Because if they down with creator, they're gonna come announcing the ever presence of the creator right off the bat. Right in the beginning, right off the flip. Hey, I'm here to declare the ever presence of our creator to you. Then they got a message for you. And the message is something to help you and help humanity progress forward. You see? He ain't showing up to shoot the breeze with you, to kick the Willy Bobo. No, he ain't here to do none of that. Watch this. Watch this. So it ain't in the power of man to understand what truth is based off a miracle, based off what you think a thing look like, or a God look like, or what Jesus look like. Or even based off a slight miracle. That's not what you're supposed to be looking at. And if you're looking at that, you're ready to be handled. Look at this. But the Father has created one thing besides, which is his own light. For which reason be believing toward men and angels. And when they teach you according to Creator, watch this. Because angels or spirits can come to you teaching you the right thing. You just need to know what it is, right? And when they teach you according to the Creator, which is what, y'all? Life to all and happiness to all, without sacrifice, murder, destruction, the bloodshed of any. They are holy. We can rock with that, right? Because the Creator is about life to all, happiness to all. So that means he's totally against slavery. Ain't nobody no happy slave. Totally against bondage. The doctrine of the Creator is life to all and happiness to all without the harm of any. See, if that's the message, they are holy. 778. That is without worshiping any God, man, or angel, without demands that you follow a certain person, without having a tribute demanded of you. I'm telling you, like, okay, you spiritually communicating, but you need to know who with you and who ain't. Because these evil angels come looking decked out, boy, crowns on, nigga studded jewels. Boy, what you talking about? Wrapped in robes of light? Powerful. But the message stank. Message stank. Look at this. If a man or angel says, visit the sick, and administer to the distress. Follow his vice, for it is of the Father. Okay, so you get an inspiration to go visit your people. So anybody at the hospital or maybe at home sick or whatever, that's a righteous vibration. Press play on that. Why are you holding back? Press play on that. That's exactly what you should be doing. It's just letting you know when them inspirations come through, how to identify what's right and what's not. You know how to do that. Most of us don't. Most of us don't. Or most of us don't know how to practically apply it because you know what's right and wrong. You just don't know how to handle up, spiritually speaking. Look at this. But if man or angel says do this, and you shall have profit or glory or applause. You got to obey him. For he advises for yourself. Not for the brotherhood of man. He's not a God. He is not of God. So you get the inspiration that, you do this and you're going to have major league profit and glory and standing ovations. No, all that is self-centered. That's the beginning stages of self-worship, self-idolatry. I say, I don't even listen to no inspiration like that. Why? For spirits will come disguised as your fathers and mothers who are dead. Yeah. So just because you gotta have a vision of your recently deceased loved one, don't mean it's them. Spirits have the ability to disguise themselves, like we seen with Abraham in the story in chapter 9. See, the spirits, the angels, the ancestors have an ability to disguise themselves, change their appearance, to regulate. For spirits will come disguised as your fathers and mothers, who are dead, professing love and profit to you. Do not believe them, except when they teach you to sacrifice who? Self, for the good of others. That's major right there. So the Creator is all about being selfless. He gave all away so you could be created and have life. You see, this is not a self. I used to hear a self-proclaimed elder back in the day say that salvation is selfish. He used to always say this, like all the time. It did, and wasn't until years later when I got some higher and better understanding. I was like, he don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Hell, he means salvation is selfish. No, it's selfless, not selfish. He said, don't even believe no spirit coming up or around you that's self-centered, trying to get you on some self-centered vibration. He said, do not believe them, except when they teach you to sacrifice self for the good of others. Wow, look at this. Abraham will give you some spiritual game. You'll do good to take heed, especially if you're some type of big-time dreamer. You know what I mean? One day we all got to cross over. At least you'll be prepared. You'll know what to say when something skip across your plate. Tell me some bow to me. You stand before your God. The wicked in heart have profited in herds and in gold and silver. Say, behold, God has blessed me. But I say to you, they are cursed. They are cursed and not of God. Has he gathered you together here because you were rich? You were slaves and in poverty, sick and in bondage. And he came and delivered you. Be like him, and he will abide with you. Like, prayer ain't gathered to get you together because you was rich. It actually was the opposite. You were the rejects. And I got you together. He said when people be out bragging about how their material wealth and what they got going on, he like, man, they ain't blessed, they cursed. That ain't even got nothing to do with none of that. You see? Look at this right here. A little more of this and we're gonna close out. But you gotta know how to handle this. Like, you gotta know how to navigate through the spirit world, what to say, what to speak. You know what I mean? You gotta remove fear and all that. Because you in that time. Everybody claim they spiritually communicate. You dig? But don't know the basics. This is basic right here. And ask yourself, dang, why I ain't know that? Or why I ain't never peeped that? That was an evil angel. That wasn't the creator, the God maker that tempted Abraham to do the evil of offering up his son as a burnt offering. But see, we say the stuff you niggas scared to whisper. If you a devoted Israelite, you dare not say that. Because it ain't sunk into your mind yet that you've been in cahoots. You've been in covenant with a false God, a evil angel, pump faking like it's the creator of all. That's a lie. Because the creator of all would never tempt you with evil. Ever. Especially tempt you to go sacrifice and offer up your child that he promised to you. He'll never do that to you. So who was that? It can't be the creator, because the creator told you not to kill. So who was this telling you to kill? If a man comes to you saying, behold, this is my coat, give it to me, you should say, prove yourself as to who you are. Yeah, you ain't just going to cough it up. You got to prove yourself. Just like when the angel came and told Abraham murder his son. You got to prove that. You got to prove to me you God now. You got to show me that. Just like you would do if somebody came knocking on your door and said, hey, that's mine that you got right there. You got to prove that to me. But if a man comes to you saying your herd is going astray, you should not say to him, prove yourself as who you are, but go after your herd. If a spirit says, behold, I am your father, say to him, it is well. What do you want? Look at that. Look at that. What you want? See, if you out here spiritually communicating like all the gurus, right? And they ain't told you nothing about shooting straight when you're talking to any type of spirit, any type of ancestor or angel. Shoot straight. I'm your father. What we just read, spirits can come disguised as your father. That's dead. So if you having a vision of your recently departed loved one and it looked just like them, it's your, your father, your mother, and all that, you still got to test that spirit to make sure it's them. Because it's probably not. If a spirit says, behold, I am your father, say to him, it is well. What do you want? What you want? That's good, you my pops. What you want? See, most of y'all can't even stomach to say that. Now, most of you nervous. You can't be out here nervous and fearful of the spirit world. Don't be out here your knees slapping like a naked newborn. Nah, And you a groovy guru. You out here getting your money right? Right? Selling spirit, right? All right, well, you should at least know how to handle up and talk directly to it. It is well, I'm your father. It is well, what do you want? And when he answers you, consider if his words are of God, which are for the who? The glory of the creator. If the words that are being spoken to you are from true God, he is going to always announce the glory of the creator to you. You can't get around that. Always. You dig? And if his words are not of God, you should challenge him to prove himself. See? You got every right to challenge the spirit to come knocking at your door. No, who that? No. You finally open the door. What you want? Hi, sir. I'm open to selling a servant. Get off my porch with that. Bye. It's the same way you handle anybody that knock at your door that came unannounced. Man, what the hell you want? Who's you? You from work? Who you over here for? Oh, no, trick no good. That's how you got to be. You over here speaking in your inside voice, you're nervous, you're in moccasin mode. How you like that in the spirit world? That's more of a reality than this tangible fleshly world. This tangible carnal world. And you go off nervous, don't know what to say, stuttering, and that's when you realize, dang, I've been sold a dream. I've been hustled. I've been paid thousands of dollars as one of these groovy gurus. You're supposed to know the inwards and the outwards, the system and order of the spirit world, and they ain't told me nothing. Your first apparition or vision, or you look over in the corner and see something standing there that ain't supposed to be standing there, you're going to be low running. You're going to be low running up out of there. Yeah, you're going to blow all your drawers out. All of them. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, the CGG ain't playing, man. Like, y'all really need to tap in with the game, like for real. That's one thing I be cracking me up, because a Negro like Billy Carlson can brag about an elevator he got in his house. And he is a mental midget. You can't be serious about this guy. Impossible. It ain't just him either. There's all types of cats that it's impossible that we are vibrating so low that we would even consider a Billy Carson as some type of gatekeeper or some type of deep spiritual guru. This Negro is a mental midget. What are you talking about? He still ain't recovered from the little Christian theologian, little West Huff. He still ain't recovered from that. And here you go, lapping it up, seal clapping like it's feeding time at the zoo. These cats who you giving all this money to, that's supposed to be guiding you spiritually, ain't even gave you the basics, man. Stop it. Stop it. As God is captain of heaven and earth to all righteous souls, so was there a Satan who was captain over evil spirits. Remember, God ain't the creator. God is just another creation, a son of the creator. And to the extent that the king's peoples do not have faith in the Father, so do their souls fall prey to Satan and his, oh, you ain't got faith in the creator. Hey, look, you seasoned for the fire already. Spirit world is real, boy. Yet neither shall man flatter himself by saying, behold, I have joined the faithless. What that say? Israelites. You go talking about this ain't got nothing to do with Israel. Like, I don't know what book y'all reading, or like Israelites for life over this way. You did, but what do we got to address? Character. And we got to start with the character of the God first, because the quoted and devoted Orthodox Israelite and Christian, you dig, is acting the way they act because they see God act like it. Now we got to address that. We got to address these actions and these characteristics to see if it hold up to righteousness, if it can hold up to the light of the Creator. All right, and once you do that, I have joined the Israelites, or the faithless. My soul shall escape hell. For in that day and hour, God may be putting them to the test to see if his heart is for good works and holiness. But because you profess God, you are doubly bound to practice godliness in your behavior toward men and angels. Don't be thinking you good of any type of, turmoil just because you are Israelite. You part of the faithless. Faithless means you have full faith in the ever-present Creator, the God maker. It say for that in that day and hour, here you go with this, boisterous. I'm chosen. It say God may be putting you to the test to see if your heart is for good works and holiness. But because God is rolling off your lips, because Creator is rolling off our lips, we doubly bound, y'all. Doubly bound to practice godliness in our behavior toward men and angels. Good night, boy. If y'all get some understanding so far, y'all drop a 9,000 in the chat, man. All praises, all glory, all honor to the great spirit, the Creator, the God maker, man. Number, love, and light. Y'all already know. We got one more spot. We got one more stop. We got one more stop on this great trip of ours. Israelites and Christians must change their minds about the Almighty Creator. Facts. Facts. You don't know if your God is a warmonger, if he's vindictive, if he's jealous. If he drinks blood, if he's down with human sacrifice, you don't even be knowing. You just licking your fingers and skimming through Bible and say, oh, that's what that say. That's what it is. There's no testing of the spirit. There's no trying of it. Ain't none of that pop. Yahweh in the building, my brother Yahweh. What's the word? I love and light to you. My brother Just Me Buzz Lightyear's in the building. Number love, y'all. Y'all already know. Y'all already know what time it is. It's your little brother. It's your little brother. Now, let me find this real quick. Find this real quick and get right back. See? So now you're learning the basics and the fundamentals on how to navigate through. You know what I mean? How to navigate through what's called the spirit world. Most people, believe it or not, most don't know. You know what I mean? Most don't have a clue. It's like, what are y'all talking about? All right, let me pull this up real quick, and we go on to the next one. And then I think that's where we're going to land. We're going to park right there and get back to it. Give me a second. We're going down. All right, here we go. Bear with me 1 second, fam. Trying to find my spot. Cats out here deep. All right, pulling up on it now. Dang. All right, now we're about to go to God's Book of Esther, OI Speed, chapter 27. We're going to deal with this purification, and then we're going to get on up out of here. Always an honor chopping it up with the family. Y'all already know. We got something else coming in a couple more days, too. Already done with it. We've been working. You know what I mean? The game's still cooking. Always. Oh, man. What you say, cowboy? Cow say, well, yeah, Wappy is different. Everybody knows too. Man, what the? Did y'all see that bomb go off? What? I just gonna deal with this right here. Then we gonna close out. CGG still cooking, man. Now, watch this. Chapter 27, Esther. Purification is the first law I give to you, and the same as with the ancients, in which you should not eat the flesh of any creature that breathes the breath of life, nor fish that live in the water, nor under the water. Right out the gate, you talking about purification, and in that diet you'll see. That's where you're going to receive a lot of the pushback from, because the Negro love that yard. That chicken, that lamb, that beef. The Negro love his meat and eggs in the morning. I'm just gonna be real with you. So that's gonna be like pulling teeth, but stick to your guns though. Stick to your guns. You'll see that all the ones that came teaching the higher light, they wasn't chewing on the animals at all. They wasn't even chewing on them. Look at this. That deal say, you should not eat the flesh of any creature that breathes the breath of life, nor fish that live in the water, nor under the water. Yahshua said the same thing when we started off earlier. He was saying the exact same thing. All right, look at this. You should bathe once every day from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. Before bathing, you should say before you, oh, Creator Jehovah. All right, y'all remember this. Highlight this, because these are prayers and affirmations you can say in the morning, at night, before you get in the shower or the tub, after you get in the shower, and doing. Constantly repeating these things within your cycle. You know what I mean? So y'all highlight these things. You know what it says earlier? It says, you should bathe once every day from the crown of the head to the sole of the feet. And before bathing, you should say, before you, O Creator, I will put away the filth of my body and the evil of my spirit. And after bathing, you shall say, as I have with water washed clean the outer man, O Jehovah, help me to make clean my spirit. Before you bathe, after you bathe, before you shower and after you shower. These things you constantly, I'm washing the filth of my body. I need to be cleansing my spirit. I mean, as I'm cleaning this out, as I have washed this outer cup, help me make clean my spirit. You see? So as you're washing carnally, you're still keeping in mind the fact that you for sure need to be washing spiritually. All right? In the morning. Now, I like this stuff. What you say when you wake up in the morning and yawning with your morning breath? In the morning, when you wake, you should say, help me, O Creator, to keep my thoughts pure today and my soul full of love and tenderness. And run them things back. Say it as soon as you open up your eyes, say it. Let me keep my thoughts pure today, O Creator, and my heart full of love and tenderness. Let me keep my thoughts pure today. Right? Because you the one that's going to have to do it, but the Creator will guide you. See? In the evening before sleeping, you shall say, while my corporeal body sleeps, O Creator, help my less encumbered spirit see the ways of your righteous judgment. As I rest this physical body, O Creator, help my less encumbered spirit understand the path of your righteous judgment. See? And that comes from repetition. Once you repeat it enough, it's ingrained inside of you. It's ingrained inside of you. And it's a gang of these within a wasp. You know what I mean? Help me, O Creator. Appropriate me to do your will, for myself is of no longer any concern. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Look at it. Without purity, no man can see the Creator. With purity, all men can see and hear him. It is easy. Now, this for those that are, that think it's real hard to switch up your diet and all that. It's easier to purify the physical body than the spiritual. A diet and baths can accomplish the physical, but pure thoughts are required for the soul. Now, that's all of them right there. That's all of them right there. Yeah. A man may be clean as to the flesh, but if he has impure thoughts, he is impure in spirit. Whoever speaks cruelly or unjustly of his neighbor is foul in spirit. Zip that up. Stop talking about your people. If he speaks of the shortcomings and deceptions of his neighbor, he is foul in spirit. So that first of all, purification is the first law of a man's own self. The second law is after being purified, strive to constantly do good to others. Facts. Why wouldn't you? Some of the multitude asked, what do you mean by doing good to others? Zacchaeus said, to inspire others to purity first, and then to attain individuality. It has been said from time without end that to help the poor, to give to them, to serve them is good works done to others. But I say to you, this is only halfway to that which you do. For you should not only help them, but to go and teach them how to help themselves. This is doing good to others, huh? In other words, don't give them a fish, teach him how to catch his own fish. That's what doing good to others is. Don't just give him some money, teach him how to get his own money. That's what doing good to others. Right? Drop a 5,000 if that makes sense. It has been said, whoever says the ordinances of the priest repeating a certain number of prayers daily does a good work. But I say to you, it's like Yeshua was saying in the Bible, but I say to you, whoever teaches a man to invent prayers of his own, that's not a greater good. How many of y'all know that's what we're supposed to be doing? Huh? Yeah, them the prayers that count. The ones when you really be low and you be pouring your soul out. It don't even be nothing rehearsed, right? Because you pouring out from deep within. You see, a greater good is to teach you how to invent your own prayers. Start writing your prayers down, your thoughts. You know what I mean? Why, after all, why can't you? They did it in the past. Why you can't write down no prayers? But you think the Creator ain't dealing with you or something? But I say to you, whoever teaches a man to invent prayers of his own has done a greater good. To put a man on the path to be his own salvation. This is the best good work. As you have depended on the priest to pray for you, I come to teach you to pray for yourselves. You got to get past that. Y'all pray for it. There ain't nothing wrong with somebody else praying for you, but you really supposed to be praying for yourself. You really supposed to be inventing your own prayers. After all, you're establishing or reestablishing a stronger connection or communication with your maker. You know what I mean? It's personal. It's personal. The third law is to abnegate one's own self, deny one's own self, being willing in heart to sacrifice one's own desires, possessions, and opinion for the sake of peace and the good of the family. This is the most difficult law. For the selfishness of man causes him to say, I have such a love of liberty, let me be the dictator. You do by my decrees. If not for this evil among men, they could dwell together in peace the world over. See, if not for selfishness, we can live in peace the world over. The fourth law is to love all men, women, and children as brothers and sisters. You heard that? So we got to take all the bigotry and the race and take that shit off the table and then flush it down the toilet somewhere. Right? It ain't got nobody on either side anyway. The fifth law is to return good for evil, to return pleasure to those who get pain, to practice those things. Holding all things in common is sufficient for the redemption of the world from darkness, war, and evil, to peace, light, and happiness for all the living. Good night, good night, good night. Wait. I think that's what we gonna end it right there today, fam. Y'all already know. You know what I mean? We out here. Almost. What's up? You go? That gonna hurt, bro. Hey. But y'all praises to the great spirit, the creator, the God maker. The maker of suns, moons, and stars, always was, is, and never shall be. It's your little brother, Malaki Macabee. Y'all got any questions before I get up out of here? Y'all got any questions, go ahead and post them. If not, I'm going to slide on off and finish, conquering this day. Y'all know how it is. I know exactly how it is. Yeah, let me check the chat real quick. Man. What you say, just meet my daughter. You say my daughter does hair, and she said I wasn't supposed to wash my hair every day. I told her Chris said it was healthy to bathe the whole body, and that includes my hair. Absolutely. Whole body in this deal. If y'all got some understanding today, y'all drop 12,000 up in the chat for your little brother. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. Yeah, we love y'all too. We love y'all too. CGG is in the building. Creative gang is in the building. Yeah, we just cooking. That's what we do. Cook. Slow cook. What else we got over here? That's what it do, family. I'm about to get over and make something for this little short little dude over here real quick. Glad everybody got some understanding though, man. Number, love, and light for the fam. As y'all see, light years ahead. Light years. Brian's always on something. And scribes, niggas that's responsible for writing down the Torah was the chief. Already 5,000. This dude here, man. Yeah, they was enemies of biblical Yahshua. All day. Enemies. Agents of the court, all that. That's what's up, y'all. I'm about to get about it in. You know what I mean? Love, light, and balance. Good to see y'all. Yeah, good to see y'all. Good to be sane. We're going to ride it on out. Where's that? Right there. We're about to ride it on out, family. And y'all already know. Y'all already know our praise to the creator, the God maker. All day. All day. You know what I mean? Dang. What you say, little joker? Move for what? I don't know, man. You be trying to watch you be trying to watch all type of crazy stuff. I don't know. Nah, you put this on the full. Dang. All right, let's get it.
Jehovah is as near this day as in the time of the ancients. Put yourself in order, becoming one with him. And no book is so easily read as his created universe. Inspiration comes less by books than by what Jehovah wrote. His worlds read him and his works. Frame your speech and your thoughts for him. He will answer you in your own behavior and in the happiness of your soul. Great wisdom cannot be attained in a day, nor purity and strength to overcome temptation, till the growth is from the foundation. The fool will say, the sacred books are no more than man of his own knowledge could write. Yet he has not wisely imitated the power of the words of your God. Let him do this well, and behold, he will also declare my words are from me. Yes, he will recognize them wherever found. It is the will and wish of your God that all men become constitutionally capable of receiving and comprehending the highest life, and that they shall no longer depend upon any priest, church, oracle, holy book, or upon consulting the spirits, and that their behavior may make the earth a place of peace, with long life to all people, for the glory of Jehovah. To his Etherian gods and goddesses, Jehovah said, as you have founded arcs of light in my Etherian heavens, to determine the travel of my corporeal worlds, so shall my God of the earth inspire mortals to build lighthouses for man's ships that travel on the oceans, and those who travel in the ships. And those on the land shall know when a ship nears the port, even as you see my traveling earth approaching the place of Cosmic. For this shall be an illustration to mortals, that I have appointed cycles of times and dawns of times, with gods and goddesses to superintend my creations in tenderness and love, lest by chance man becomes despondent, saying, alas, Jehovah did not provide in wisdom commensurate with the magnificence of his creations. Behold, the time draws near when the nations of the earth shall course around the whole earth in ships, crossing the seas and oceans to all the places places I created.